Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Vonjema, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat kepa, congratulate my brother, to spoon. You got a Spoon TV, you got a Spoon Radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You want to get a news update, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba. What I want? Yes, what you got today? Spoon TV. Yes, what you got today? Spoon TV. Spoon. Ba. Skiddy dabado. Spoon TV. Spoon Entertainment. Kua. Bese kua, go to there. Kua, go to there. On the spoon. Yes, what you information. On the spoon.
Yes, a special one from the CEOs, Dan coming with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the Southern Band, James on the beat.
On the spoon to get your information. On the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Vonjema, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat kepa, congratulate my brother, to spoon. You got a Spoon TV, you got a Spoon Radio, to spoon. Yeah, 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 Tunto Spoon. You want to get a news update? Tunto Spoon. What? Yeah, Rasta.
Okay. Good evening. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing. Welcome to the nation's biggest platform here. This beautiful evening from ODS Congo Town in Minerva, Liberia. Wherever you are and whatever you are doing, it's time that we get set to be informed, to get some very, very interesting but educative analysis, from the Spoon Talk team, the CEO, and his host of panelists. My name is Yekezi Zwobel, and of course, this evening, I'm your sound coordinator. Let's now go over to the team there. I see Dr. Richardson and James Good Day Flomo. Good evening.
Hi, Yekezi. Hi, good day.
Well, I'm okay. God keeping me alive.
Amen. Amen to that. How you guys
it's good
doing?
to see you guys.
Good. I have to tell you, Yekezi, you and Aaron, you guys are doing so well with your introduction. I like the comments, the words, and the way how you guys interject the music. So good feedback to you guys. Is continue doing a wonderful job. It makes the intro of the show very exciting and inviting. So well done, job well done. James,
Thank you.
good day. How the war over that other part of the world?
The other part of the world is okay. Everything here stays smooth.
You're the fan. Any Kobo? You found Kobo?
Where found Kobo?
I'm too happy you're going through what we're going through. You suffer each other, the rest of us. Even though we don't suffer yet no more because we can find at least all this small kesali and small African food, small. But before when I came to the States, it was not that easy to find. So you can find lapa. How about labado? The thing you can call
Lapabido. No lapabido.
Lapabido.
That's a shame. You don't even know how to call it. That's a shame.
I don't even know what it is. What is it? What is it, James?
Don't worry about it. James, don't explain. James, do not explain.
Lapabido.
James, do not explain. Do not explain, James.
I asked you to explain last time, you refused to explain the thing to me.
That's a shame.
What's the shit about it?
You don't even know what lapabido is. Why?
Never had lapabido.
We're gonna sit on the show and talk. Then people can't eat lapabido no more because no rice in the country. There's no lapabido. Lapabido. Listen, lapa. And you know what lapa is?
Lapa.
No. Listen now. And you know what lapa is?
Yes.
Okay. B-E-B.
Ebido.
Do. D-O-O-R. Lapa. B-do.
Oh,
you understand that? Wait. You see how easy it is? You see how easy it is? We're in Labrador looking for lapabido.
Lapabido.
But you better say you are 3 years old, so you don't know what lapabido is.
I'm sorry, but I happen to learn that.
You are so blessed to leave from your fellow Liberian, come here by the blessing of the Lord. And now here we are. You don't know lapabido. You don't know anything. You're just having fun. And since you got here, you've been blessed. Never ate pan cabbage. People don't have rest in their home.
No,
some people celebrating.
Pan cabbage is not a food for. There's pan cabbage people from on Sunday. My mother used to cook cabbage and then you put pan cabbage in it.
Hold on one minute. Let's get you straight. Hold on. God, don't say nothing, please. You say what happened with pan cabbage?
On Sunday, you can cook cabbage and then you put.
No, Yekezi, come back. Just come for the fun, Yekezi. You will go off for a minute.
You guys don't know.
No. Help me. You say what happened?
You can make cabbage, and then you can put pound cabbage, which is the inside part of the palm. Because my father had an oil palm farm. We had an oil palm farm, so that's why I know where palm cabbage comes from. And
How you cook palm cabbage?
I don't. I know it's my mother used to cook it in cabbage. That's all. That's what I know.
Oh, your mom will cook the palm cabbage in cabbage.
Correct.
Yeah, that's a Richie thing.
I know.
Just forget about the history now, please. Because you just put yourself in a very.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
So explain to the Liberian people.
A certain time.
That's a Richie thing. That's a Richie thing.
I'm not.
I beg you, explain to the Liberian people what palm cabbage is.
I'm telling you, my father, one of his favorite food was palm cabbage. Okay?
And so how am I used to cook it?
He used to cook in cabbage. Maybe it was on a Sunday, but
he used to cook it in what? In Cabbageville?
Cabbage.
Yeah.
Like that.
She used to cook it where? In Cabbageville?
I didn't say Cabbageville. There's nowhere called Cabbageville.
But I want to learn from you how your mom can cook palm cabbage.
I don't know how she cooked it, but my father used to cook palm cabbage.
Have you cooked palm cabbage?
No, I don't know how to cook palm cabbage.
Have you eaten palm cabbage?
I believe I have, but I don't.
You believe?
Yes.
Do you really know what palm cabbage is?
Yeah, I'm telling you, my father owned an all palm farm. It's inside of the all palm that you cut it, and you can find it. It's a long kind of white thing. It's a white.
You trying? We give it to you. You trying?
It's a long kind of white thing. I remember seeing.
Long kind of white thing.
Yeah.
That's what Richie said.
Yeah.
Leave this thing alone.
Okay.
We know about palm cabbage. We can tell you about palm cabbage gravy. We can tell you about palm cabbage in palm butter. We can tell you about how you will cook that palm cabbage, and that will be your last meal before you go to bed, or Rebel Kanaki at your house. We can tell you about the real root of palm cabbage, the different layers. We can tell you because we have eaten everything that you talk about.
But palm cabbage
it's not about you cook palm cabbage in palm cabbage gravy. What's that?
I didn't tell you put palm cabbage in palm cabbage gravy. I told you can put palm cabbage in cabbage when you cook cabbage.
Oh, you can put palm. Okay, all right, let's leave that one. But guys, we want to say, and that's why actually we asking the question tonight. With no rest on the market, no palm cabbage on the market, no elos, no cocodioko, no buckwheat, nothing. Should the Liberian President George Manneh Weah celebrate his birthday tomorrow? Amidst the rest crisis in the country, everything that's happening, should the Liberian president? We want to ask Mawani this question. We want to ask you, the Liberian. We'll open the phone line, and you help us understand. Should our president, President George Manneh Weah, celebrate his birthday? What would a good president do? What would a good president do? Tomorrow is the president's birthday, the 1st of October. Tomorrow is President George Manneh Weah's birthday. Data. Number 1. LRB1. But as we wait for the other folks, I want to ask you that joining us tonight, just tell us for the sake of good conversation tonight. We got Mr. Representative Kokar. Yakesi, is he in studio? He should be there.
Yeah. So I just want to go off to
get him set and get him set up, please. But we're going to ask the question. The scarcity of rice. People get nothing to eat. The leader of the country. We want to ask you tonight. When we open the phone line, that's the only question we'll be asking you. Then we'll go through the conversation. We just really want to know from you. We really want to understand from you. Should George Manneh Weah celebrate his birthday? Grand style. At the party headquarters. why people are going to bed hungry. What would a Cummings administration do? What would a Bouakai administration do? We just need somebody to help us. Somebody help us with this question. What would you advise the president? Mr. President, I do believe not at this time people are suffering. We had a discussion yesterday on this race issue, and we're going to wrap the week off with this race thing. We're begin to ask people how much was allocated, how much money Samuel Twe make available. How much did he give Mwani Deeks as a subsidies for those importers? Swap, you Fuadin, you heard everything, all their names. How much? How much was given to them? When was it given to them? Which rights dealership, which group received the money? The Liberian people need to know. You guys, you need to know though. Which group received the money? Who made the distribution? Who gave them the money? Was it Mwani Deeks or Samuel Twe? Who? How was it made? If you answer all the questions, then you ask yourself the question, why there is no rice on the Liberian market? Why? So if you answer all the why, when, where, who, then you come back and say, but then why there is no rice? Then in the midst of all of that, the president's birthday is tomorrow. You see the B sign when you come in on the boulevard. Happy birthday, Mr. President. The president, like say he care about you, the Liberian people. President George Manneh Weah. Should he celebrate his birthday? Well, somebody told me, say, yo, the president said they would do this one, but they will go back in Jamaica Resort to have a little gathering. Whether it's a little gathering or on the largest scale, should this birthday be celebrated when people stay crying for rice? To all of our fellow Liberians out there, we bring you greetings from the Spoon Decks. We say thank you for joining us. We will go into the conversation. We have Representative Koga from District Number 5, Nimba County, as our guest. Folks are making some serious preparation concerning the president's birthday. They are making some very serious, spending a lot of money. A lot of money. They are spending a lot of money. And money, I don't know who provided the money. Maybe that's the committee. But you all know President Weah was born October 1st, 1966. He will be turning 55 years old as of tomorrow, I believe, if you do the math right. Am I correct? 1966 to 2002. What? 56? 56 tomorrow. You'll be 56 years old tomorrow. You got to understand, the question remains, this is where we are. We have to discuss this. October 1st, 1966, and he will be turning 66. Given another 6 years in office, at the age of 72, President Weah will be leaving office. Given another 6 years. 73. Too many. Start confused with me, man. You get me? Come on the show and say something. We're trying to do the math. President Weah will be 57. It will be 63 or 64, right?
Yeah, but you said 77. He'll be in 71.
Oh no, yeah. Maybe I'll make him to be that black guy. Who knows? Yeah. So you got to understand what we are saying. President Weah is turning, man. He will still be in his 60s. Imagine where he came from. (1966). Tomorrow will be the president's birthday. Imagine President George Manuel Weah having his birthday celebration tomorrow while folks are going to bed hungry. Imagine President George Manuel Weah having his birthday celebration tomorrow. And Mawani Dix will be at the birthday party though. Make no mistake now, she have to attend. That's the darling girl. She will be there. And at the end of the day, guess what happened? Maybe Senator will be flying home to attend the birthday party, or maybe he will stay here in America. Maybe Legend Wolverine and Zoka Wilson. Zoka Wilson left. I think he should be arriving this today. They all will have to go to the birthday party. It's for the special group of people. They will get food. They will get rest there to eat. But you Liberians, you have no rest to eat. Let me hear from my fellow panelists. As we jump into this conversation, we want to welcome Yvonne Iyo, George Gager, Ruth Salif, Samuel Bole, AWE Ewi, Charles Russell. Welcome, Charles Russell. Sarafina, Jason Sayon, Joseph Koyani Paul. We want to welcome every one of you that joining us today to have a wonderful program. After my fellow panelists gave the intro, we will open the phone line and ask the Liberian people, do you think it's necessary for this president to go ahead with his birthday celebration while people go to bed hungry? And then we'll tell you what happened at the port. We're also going to bring in Representative Samuel Kogo, District Number 5, Nima County. He's the chairman on commerce. He will give us some very important information. Just for your information also, something happened in the region, Burkina Faso. They heard gun sound around the presidential palace. I woke up this morning with a text message from Senator Edwin Snow. He sent us that information, and when we followed the Associated Press, the information was proven to be correct. Military were all on the street. People were chanting. The region is not safe, very unstable. Whether it was attempted coup, yet to be verified, but folks are saying there were some gun sign and a terrorist sign in Burkina Faso. Dr. Richardson, thank you for joining us as always. Kev Hassan, it's good to see you. Sintuman and George, like always. Chairman Ben Senvi. Chairman, I hope you are safe, man. I heard that this thing is coming your way. Please keep safe. The hurricane thing, changing direction. If for any reason you have to leave, you got nowhere to stay. I got a big place here. You're welcome.
But how can you?
Don't worry. We'll send a helicopter for you.
Okay, I don't get me in the helicopter.
Dr. Richardson, talk to us, man. Should President Weah still go ahead with this birthday celebration?
Oh, man, I'm not sure.
Kev, can you mute? Kev, can you mute?
Why you trying to be talking?
Go ahead, Dr. Richardson.
I do not believe that the president should go ahead with his usual birthday celebration, which in my description would be an elaborate birthday celebration. The last one I saw seemed to be, dancing, band, cake, and all of those things. And the main purpose is because there's a child in Liberia who may not be able to have a meal today or tomorrow or yesterday. And the consequences of not having a meal, it's just grave to me. We're thinking about someone who might just be anxious about not having their food, worried about not having food for the next day, the ramification of hunger and what it does to the human capital, our human resources. So I want the president to channel all of his energy right now to solving our rights, what I call is the rights crisis in the country, the crisis that we have in the country, to prevent further, again, psychological issues. I would call them further psychological problems for our citizens. So that's where I would stop for now. I do not think that he should have those elaborate parties that they have with band, cake, merrymaking, all of that stuff. You can celebrate a birthday if you have to. You can call your friend. They can sing happy birthday to you. Identify with the Liberian people, that people are hungry. That's not a bad thing right now. But we have a problem in the country that needs to be addressed.
Thank you very much, Dr. Richardson. Thank you. Kev Hassan?
Well, good to be here. Capturing the headlines if the president will celebrate his birthday during rice issue. My advice to the president: yes, celebrate your birthday. Do, because when you celebrate your birthday, not in the massive way that people might think, but when you celebrate your birthday, it's a God-given life that everybody here will want to celebrate having another day on this earth that we're living in. For people to think that don't celebrate your birthday, I remember. I'm old enough to remember when there was 700,000 jobs and folks were losing in this country. Aretha Franklin was at the warehouse. If people want to see the tape, I can put it out. Aretha Franklin, Jay-Z were at the warehouse with Obama. When people were dying in Afghanistan, George Bush were playing golf. But when we take this narrative to think that in our country, and the thing is, folks that are on this panel know that Aretha Franklin were at the warehouse when we were losing jobs. Jay-Z were there, Beyonce was there. But guess what? Folks on this panel, because folks are Democrats, they celebrate that. But when it comes to us, they want a state of anarchy. And I think it's wrong. So let's dig deeper into those things and let's go further.
Symptomana George?
Well, my understanding is that from what I'm gathering, from based on numerous outcry, I think the president, he won't be celebrating his birthday. From what I'm gathering, maybe before the show ends, will be confirmed. But and I hope that what we're hearing is the right thing, so that the issue of Liberians not having rice on the market and they're all complaining will be something that will be considered, and so that the president can at least address this issue. But the only disappointment I'm having is that it's almost 72 hours. I mean, more than a week now, and we still have not heard from the government, official position from the government on this issue. And I believe that it's about time that at least they say something, even they are discussing with someone or making plans to bring in rice or doing something. At least break silence to the Liberian people, let them be aware where they are. But to just keep silent and people are speculating is not good for the country and for our own national security. Rice is a political commodity that we cannot just put aside easily. So I'm hoping and praying that today is Friday, we'll hear something, maybe a late statement coming from the government that the issue of rice is being, they have done something towards it. And the president's birthday, hopefully, what we heard that it will not be celebrated tomorrow. Hope it is true, and we welcome that news.
Thank you, Georgie. Thank you. Chairman?
Good to be here. Thank you. Thank you for the best wishes. Hopefully my light doesn't go off while I'm on the show. We will be monitoring.
But no, to your question, first of all, let's wish the president happy pre-birthday. I don't think, from an optic standpoint, anything elaborate should happen tomorrow. But if the question is, nobody should go say anything to the president, and nobody, look, I think tomorrow is his birthday. I think his ministers may go sit with him, friends may go sit with him. I think the main issue here for me is what is being done to deal with this crisis. But I do agree. I don't think any major elaborate celebration should happen, especially in the midst of a crisis, because when you do have a crisis, people are looking up to you to lead. Sometimes presidents may decide, say, hey, maybe as a result of this, I may go visit an orphanage, or I may feed elderly people on my birthday, or something like that. I think if he does something in that direction, I think it will be good. So just a free advice, maybe they should, send some food to orphanages, do stuff like that in celebration of his birthday. But overall, I think tomorrow is his birthday. Liberians as a whole, we tend to celebrate presidents. We tend to send them birthday greetings. People take gifts. Traditional people may take gifts. So maybe we may see something like that. Maybe something like that at his house or at his resort. But I think everybody deserves to have a birthday. I come from a school of thought that everybody deserves to blow a candle on their birthday. So not because he's president, I should say he shouldn't blow a candle. Maybe someone I think you said something about a cake, right? I think maybe someone will take a cake to him and he would be able to blow. But the key issue here for me is this rights issue, solving the issue when it comes to this rights issue. And from hopefully, I'm sure we'll talk about it. I'm hearing that there's been some movement. The only thing that Tommy said, let them get on the information dissemination game and let the people know what's going on. But I'm looking forward to a great conversation.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Appreciate the anniversary, man. Our greetings to you and your wife. We will talk about that anniversary later on that to P-Valley. But what are your thoughts, man?
Thank you, man.
What say you, brother?
Thank you. It's good to be here, and also good to see everybody. Thank you for your best wishes. The birthday, myself, I celebrate a birthday tomorrow, and I'm looking forward. I didn't plan a major celebration, but I'm looking forward to just go somewhere, sit there with my family and the kid, and have a celebration. So we see here that when it comes to the birthday, it's one time of the year that one celebrate the time of the year, and looking at it from a political point of view, the president, his citizen will want to celebrate their political leader. They want to go and celebrate with him. I think he deserves a celebration. To be honest, I know the rights situation have become a complete obstacle to his birthday celebration. But we saw President Elie Selie, we saw others who celebrated their birthday here, even in the midst of certain things, people still went up to the home and celebrated. But I think what I've heard, I was speaking to some family members, others in Liberia. They were sharing with me this morning that there have been riots in some areas. They've been the government. They have spoken to other people who said that the government is working. I think our message here yesterday has resonated. I think there are a lot being put into it from what I've been hearing. Since we started this something, and there are a lot of effort being made to really bring this to an end, because this is.
Did you talk to Sir Joseph today?
I'm not going to go there.
Why you always say that?
I see. Because when Sir Joseph gave me that message,
Do sum me up. Do sum me up.
Not getting my heart on, man. Yeah,
but.
Let me ask them a question, everybody. Do anybody, when you take up, do anybody call your people that your assets? Let me say it that way.
I don't have any. I don't have any.
You can get information from people. You always do that thing.
But I think there's a
like you says it at people.
He's straight.
I was talking.
I was the person who talked to that Sir Joseph.
Executive. So maybe
I was talking to Sir for the last 4 weeks or so, but I think this is a very complex situation, and I think we need to help the situation as well to see how this can come to the solution.
Yeah, I did. I agree with people. Though I did speak with some people. I think me and you were talking earlier, Stanton, and I said,
yeah, but Chairman, and let me say this on a very serious note. I always say, election time, friends will be enemy for a while. After election, they will get back together. People will not call you. It's okay. We're doing this because of Liberia. I think it will be one of the greatest mistakes in President we have left if you go ahead to have that big celebration. Folks going to come around to say happy birthday, Mr. President. Having his ministers and director and his closer confidant, whether at Jamaica Resort or whether at his home, to have any backyard party is an abuse to the Liberian people that brought him to power. That would be a total disgrace. That would be neglecting the will of the people. Let's stop joking on the show tonight.
what you feeling on that photo?
No, you were talking.
For me,
no. Guys, please don't interrupt me.
You use some strong words.
Please, guys.
I just laying the premise that I agree with you on that one day. You can't
please, guys. Let me make my point. Do not interrupt me. And I want the Liberian people, when we open the phone line, we'll bring in Representative Samuel Koga. We will open the phone line and we'll hear from the Liberian people. How in the good heaven that this government have not spoken on the issue of rice, and you guys telling us that the president should be celebrated? That's the question. What kind of president do we have? The one that only care about himself and his needs? Are we kidding on the show tonight, guys? Come on, man. What should we sit on the show and bluff? Are we there yet? No, we are not.
So who bluffing?
No, let me finish backing you. We are
no,
not.
But you're talking to all. We responding.
Chairman, if I say why we,
you know what you're not going to do today? You know what you're not going to do today? I will erect the checkpoint early. You will not insinuate that we are saying the president will have a celebration and you are saying he's shooting. When you start saying things like, are we joking? So you setting the base for it to appear like, no, which I think is unfair.
But Chairman, you are interrupting me with all due respect.
No, I just want you to know, because
I'm not speaking to you, Chairman. I'm speaking past you. Okay. To the Liberians that are going to bed tonight with no food. I'm speaking to them, Chairman. Yeah, this is embarrassing. For us to say the president should go ahead and do celebration. What kind of celebration? Who are you going to have to that celebration? People with money. People with influence and affluence. People with connection. People that surround the president every day telling him lies. You know what celebration President West should be doing? He should visit all the ghettos. Go into Newtown, West Point. Go all over and give back to the people. Visit the children that have no parents. They call them orphanage. That's the celebration we want to see our president doing tomorrow. Best of all, he should go to the free port. Whosoever told him that we have rights to the port, he should go there and make sure on his birthday, that person lied to him. You know who you're going against around the president tomorrow? Mawani Diggs. Is that the kind of people you want to see around the president celebrating birthday? I'm not going to take that anymore. I will not accept it. God bless the president, that's his birthday. We cannot change that because that's the day he was born. But to celebrate that birthday, the people of Liberia will ask him questions tomorrow. It shows that he's just not, no concern, no remorse, no feelings, nothing. How you the father, Chairman Ben, to my beautiful, beautiful babies you have over there? 3 children. You have never fed them for a week. And on this day is your birthday. You telling them, say, wish me happy birthday, and now I'm ready to kill the cheeky. You can never do that, Ben. The president is the leader of the nation. The president is the papa in the home. He's the father. When the people are crying that there is no rice, have this person spoken? He came at the airport, and this is what he said. We will play this, and I will bring in Representative Coco because it's important to have the representative. In everything, when people say there was no rice, we are dying, we are hungry. Mr. President has returned from the UNGA. The president came up with sad talk.
Thank you for coming. Happy birthday. While you were away, sir, there's this concern about the scarcity of rice in the country. What's your take on that, sir?
What I'm glad is that I was away, but again, Liberia would need to not just listen to the street. You know, this happened. This is not the first time. It happened more than 4 or 5 times. The last time was at the Freeport to make sure that we got rest, and those that are responsible for bringing rest, they told me that we have rest up to next year, so that I listen to them, not those that just want to say anything they want to say. So I don't believe that the rice scarcity. I believe that there's rice, and we're going to verify again. You know, just for you Liberian people to let you know that we should not listen to the noise in the street. You know, and this is a country we want to protect. You know, and want to make sure that we have everything that Liberia needs, that needs and wants. So we will check again, because they say where smoke there's fire. So
guys, let me end with this, Chairman, and you guys can come and I'll bring the representative. Very important 3 lines you would take from this president answering the question. 1, don't listen to folks on the street. The president says it's a street talk. He dismissed it. It's a street talk. Don't believe it. 2, those that are responsible to take care of this rest issue in the country said to me, we will have rest up to next year. Who are those responsible? Mwani Deeks, Samuel Twe, and all the rest importers, and all the folks at the time, giving the assurance, the hope that rest will be in the country till next year. This is the president speaking. The president said he doesn't believe in rice scarcity. There is no shortage of rice. But then he said, where there is smoke, sometimes fire. Guys, we are listening to the voice of the president. Since he answered the question, have he spoken on the rice issue? No. Have he visited the National Port Authority in Monrovia? No. Since the rice issue, he answered that question, the president went silent. This is the president. You guys are saying he should celebrate his birthday. They must kill the cow. They must drink the cow milk. They must eat the very rice that the people don't have. They must drink Hennessy XO. They must celebrate to the best they can. And somebody in Gibraltar, in the slum, going to bed hungry. And you guys want us to accept that. Make your case as we bring in.
So let me
go ahead.
Yeah, let me
introduce the representative quick. Then you can come. Representative Samuel Cougar, is your first time joining us. That's what we do. We're glad to have you in studio. Thank you very much for your patience. It's always good to see you, and I hope this will not be your last time. You are the chairman on Commerce, and we'd like to hear from you, sir. So thank you for joining us. Nels Yakazi, we are not hearing the chairman. Yakazi. All right, let me see. The gentleman in there with you, is he there? The producer?
He got to come. Yeah, Yakazi got to come.
Okay. Yes, sir. You're good. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, come back on. Yakazi got to come.
I don't know why they're doing it like that. Go ahead, sir. Talk to us. You're welcome.
Yeah, as I reiterate, I said I must first of all totally commend you guys for the level of professionalism and being so analytical with respect to what is unfolding in our country. The issue of rights has become a contemporary issue that needs to be addressed. And for you to call me so that you will get my side of the story, I'm very much delighted, and I'm prepared to answer some concerns that will be raised by you so that we all can mitigate and see how best we can find solution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor. How you pronounce your last name for the good pronunciation?
Koga. Koga. Yeah.
Thank you very much,
The middle is the G stand for gong, man. Tall man.
Thank you very much, Representative Koga. We appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Chairman?
Yeah, let me
You were saying
I
something,
want to say
Chairman.
something quick. And Representative, it's good to see you. It's been a long time. It's good to see that you are up and running and I hope you're doing the people's work, and that's what we're going to talk about here today. But I wanted to say something quickly to you, CEO, and I think you alluded, and again, for the record, like I stated earlier, I do think I don't believe there should be any grand celebration. I don't believe there should be anything, because we do have a crisis that we're all talking about. But I want to pivot back to the president's statement. Clearly, the government dropped the ball. The information dissemination arm of this government dropped the ball. Clearly, what the president said, and I think the reason we have not heard from him, which is not an excuse, he should have said something, or at least a statement should have come from his office clarifying what's the status of things. Yesterday, I was the one on the show stating very clearly that I think we needed to have daily briefings from the Ministry of Commerce updating the country on what is going on. But in regards to this issue of his birthday, I just want to reiterate, like I said, I do believe, like you said, he probably should visit the ghettos. I said earlier, maybe feed the elderly. In the past, you see presidents do that all the time. So I just want to reiterate, but I do want for us not to take a real reality out of this picture. People will go to speak to the president tomorrow. People will go sit down with him. That the president of Liberia. We shouldn't act like this is not what we do in our country. Ministers will go there. Friends of his will go there. Traditional people will go there. And all I'm saying is we cannot say that, oh, nobody should go visit the president and he should just sit down and lock himself up because
nobody said that. Anybody say that on the show, Chairman?
No. I just want, but I don't want, because what I sense was that you were implying that, oh, we're saying let a celebration happen. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the president is going tomorrow, his birthday. As long as they're dealing with this issue, that tape was a couple of days ago. I think it was 4 or 5 days ago. Between now and then, I think I agree 100%. We deserve to know where things are. And for me, that is the only issue that I have, that we don't have any information. We can't rehash the problem. There's already a problem. How do we solve it is how I want us to, is what I'm interested in, how we can move on.
I like what you say. I'm interested in it. Very good. But not everyone of us will have that same.
No, I agree.
So can I just say something? There's a mindset in our country that just because something is always done, that means that we should continue to always do it. Okay. And I think this will be a time in which the president can set an example of identifying with the people. He is the chief citizen in the country. He represents Liberia. The citizens of Liberia right now are feeling hunger, and he needs not to be celebrating hunger in their midst. So in lieu of celebrating his birthday, he should be identifying with them, as you said, going to visit them, or somebody said here, going to visit these different areas where are suffering. So just because I have always celebrated my birthday, and this is a crisis, this is not something that we want to take lightly in our country. It doesn't mean that, oh, people should continue to do that. This should be done in a different way. It doesn't mean that people should come. People should not reinforce behaviors. The president worked for the people. Coming to celebrate with him would be reinforcing his behavior of doing nothing, of telling us, I listen to these people. He should be checking the record. He should be meeting with these people. So I listen to these people, therefore there's rights in the country. So again, this mindset, just because we've always done something, needs to change. We can start now.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask
hold on 1 minute. Guys, hold on 1 minute. Guys, hold on 1 minute. Hold on 1 minute. We got guests on the show.
Yeah.
Ben, we're 10 seconds.
Quickly. And Dr. Richardson, I think we're saying the same thing. What I'm saying, and this doesn't apply to doing the same thing over and over. I disagree. What I was stating was there is absolutely no way possible. Representative Koga in the studio, he's a politician. There are people in his district who probably got issues. On his birthday, I'm sure people from his district go and say hi to him. That's all I was saying. And again, I will reiterate what I said. I'm not saying there should be nobody should kill a cow tomorrow. I'm not saying there should be a party at the CDC headquarters. I was saying it in a joking fashion. I think in the beginning, me and Stanton even laughed about it. I am more interested now in, again, like I said, what has happened in the last week and how we go about doing it. But this thing for us to act like, oh, nobody will go sit down to the president's house tomorrow. I think we're being, we're being a little not realistic here. That's all I'm saying. I don't think there should be a huge party. I don't think there should be fireworks. But guess what? Let us get to the point where we know what is happening. But again, I reiterate, I think we're saying the same thing. We are saying the same thing here.
And Ben would probably but I just like to add, like, you should say, you guys come along with me. Let's go and feed our Liberian people. Let's go and see
hold on, Kev. We'll come to you. Let's finish, please.
Let's go and see if we can take food and discuss. In fact, let's have a cabinet meeting today. Let's invite the press. Let them see us resolving this issue. So he should take the lead instead of saying, "Oh, let's party and let's bring me cake and merry make." No,
thank you. I like what you said, Dr. Richardson, that the press need to be at the president compound tomorrow to make sure that everything. The president need to have a press conference tomorrow. Call all the journalists and speak on this issue. Kev Hassan.
Yeah, but you know what confused me in this thing is the level of what people put not only in Liberia, the level of in Black Africa, the way people think. When 300,000 jobs were losing in this country, people were having fun at the White House. Dr. Richardson knew that. She took part in electing Obama. She said that to me privately, that she was out there. But she never raised that issue and say, I would not take part in electing Barack because Aretha Franklin was at the White House. We know that. We can produce tapes. We can go. People can go and look on YouTube. Why now? That's why I would say people will want to use politics in things. Why now? Why are you saying the president should not celebrate his birthday the way he wants to? Because that's his birthday. But you will allow Barack to celebrate his birthday with Aretha Franklin. Why America was in crisis?
Let me say.
Let me come in here.
All right, guys, hold on 1 minute. We got to agree.
Why can we agree? Because
we heard what you said, but let me say this, guys. And Representative Koga, this is the spoon talk. I know you'll come in, but that's how we roll. Let me say this to you, Kev. I don't know why you always bring in the Black Africa and white Africa issue. Always bringing the issue about America and Liberia. That's a two different countries.
That's not true.
No,
it's you.
Kev, I listen to you.
Bring it up on the show.
Kev, I listened to you. I didn't interrupt.
Some people say America Central. We should live to where America is.
Hassan, I listened to you and I never interrupted you, Kev.
Yeah, but we shouldn't bring America.
Kev Hassan, I never interrupted you when you were speaking. So you would do the same for me and the rest of the panelists. You won't interrupt.
We shouldn't bring America when you favor us.
Kev, you will not interrupt us. You wait for your time, my brother. You are mistaken. Barack Obama made a system. He left a system.
The system
you are mistaken. You are mistaken, Kev Hassan. I beg you, my man. We'll go back to the rule, Kev, please, with all due respect. Your issue right now tonight is that you must compare everything to America. When Aretha Franklin was singing and dancing at the White House, people have food to eat in the midst of the economy shortfall. And it came bouncing back. And Barack Obama left a lot. And Barack Obama, let me mute you a little bit, then you can talk by yourself, because it's not right. If you ready to talk, you will have your chance to talk. There's no way you will come over here and spread this lies and garbage about Aretha Franklin dancing, Aretha Franklin dancing with Obama, yeah, and then so therefore when there were no rest in the country, President Weah should go and do buka dance, where people are dying, he must go do buka dance. You guys are the bad advisor around this president. You need to stop. This is America you're talking about. 50th state. Puerto Rico out there as another side piece to America. A lot of money coming in. The richest of the richest people in this country. Food distribution is all over. You can find food now in Liberia. People are suffering, no job, nothing. And you talking about Aretha Franklin, President Mago dance, buka dance. Guys, let's welcome our representative. Let's welcome our representative. I know we can represent when you go, it will be fired tonight. But let me just ask you the question, because you are yet to discuss the issue about the rice. We heard you guys had a quick meeting with the distributors. Acting Finance Minister Samora Wodokodi was in attendance. But somebody, let me ask you, were Mwani Deeks at the meeting? And can you talk to us about your meeting within when you guys called the distributor, what was discussed, the way forward, and what you guys spoke for?
I would like to seek the listening audience attention as we are about to discuss issue that is unfolding in our country, most especially the most stable food, rice. Before giving the answer of your question outrightly, I would like to first of all go back a little bit to historicize the issue of the rice since the inception of this government in 2018. When the president took over in 2018, he made several commitments to the Liberians. The Liberians would not sit down in their own economy at the backyard and the back door and etc. They were going to ensure that Liberians, the Liberianization policy will be implemented to the full years and will come to fruition and etc. So one of the things that the president actually focused on in terms of stabilization was the rice. Unlike the CDC-led government, when Manasseri was in government, the rice price was around $15 to $16 per bag, 25 kg bag. And then when the president came, he felt that it was so exorbitant. I don't know where the advice came from. So he called the business community to a meeting, and several meetings were held at the Marshall Back 4. And the business community said, Mr. President, in order for us to maintain the rice price at $13 per bag, it will cause us it will sustain some losses. So therefore, we will ask that at least we do that within at least 6 months to see, then we will get back on track to see if we will go back to the $15. And the president said, well, we will find means around, but however, you can start with the $13. The process went on, and then we saw that there was some semblance of shortage of rice gradually. So it raised some concern. So what I did as chairman of Commerce and Industry, I invited the rice importers, namely SWAT, UCR, Futa, Fuani. Fuani was not in the picture in the meantime when the president told Fuani. The rice importers were full. There were K&K, Fuani, K&K, Futa, UCI, and SWAT, the 4 companies. So Fuani came in some part of 2019. So when I called them to a meeting, I drew the attention of the speaker. The speaker was in attendance of the meeting. And we asked him that the president proposal to you guys is favorable. We want you to be factual. Because the issue of rice, in the first place, is a kind of a critical issue in our country. And more besides, when Mr. George had our inputting rice, there were buffer stock. Sometimes 6 months, 18 months. So we would like to know whether you guys can maintain the 13 naira at the same time to give hope to the Liberian people that there will be buffer stock. And they said, we cannot outrightly tell you yes because of the price. But if the price increases, eventually we'll be able, because when you bring the rice in Liberia, there are a lot of difficulties you go through, the port handling charges, the equatorial level, and etc. Though the government waived the taxes, but the equatorial level is not, waived, because ECOWAS got to operate, as well as the West African parliamentarian will operate as well. So there where the trade level comes in. And then the APN terminal will also have charges. And when the vessel delay at the port where it are not yet come to the dock, where they will discharge the food, MPA storage will incur, and all those stuff. So when we had a meeting with them, they told our rally that it's impossible. So we told Buffer, and Buffer said he was going to get back to the president. According to my understanding at the time, Wilson Tapper was the minister. He said they met the president, sorry, and he reiterated that he can never change that price. It will remain as it is. So then, there where they came out with a commitment that they're going to subsidize the rice industry. So I again called them at my office, the rice importer. When they came, I said the government is saying that she will subsidize the process so that you will have huge quantity of rice on the market. They said, look, Honorable, we are not politicians. We are business people, but we are coerced. The reality here is government can never subsidize the level of consumption of rice in the Liberian market. Then it means that she will fall short one way or other, either budget-wise, or they may not be consistent with their commitment. That's what they said at the time. I'm talking about 2019, almost closer to 2020. And we had that conversation. So they left. We called the Minister of Commerce. The Minister of Commerce said the president had committed that the rice price should remain at 13, and they were going to ensure that they subsidize the process. Now, the subsidies in which the government committed is not forthcoming as expected. How do you expect people who credited money from bank with interest and imported rice into Liberia for sale? You understand? We have profit at the same time to have overtime. It's difficult. Besides that, there is no international bank in Liberia. All the banking system in Liberia, they are subsidiary. If you went to Cote d'Ivoire, you will see an international bank. If you went to Ghana, you will see international bank, direct bank that can loan a company like maybe 18 to 20 million upfront through bank guarantee and etc. Central bank that we expect to be the conduit by which rice importer will use, as a guarantor to import rice, at least so that they will be able to control the price on the market as well as stabilizing the price. Central bank cannot auction money to these people. The people go on the market, on blind market, to look for US dollar to go and purchase rice. So I'm trying to make this conversation so clear so that we will have an insight. If we go into the issue to see where the problem lies, then everybody will deduce where the problem should be from. So all the commitment, government is giving it fragmentally. They will look at an individual, they give them 1 million. Somebody who brought in rice, that if you calculate the subsidy will be around 4 million. If you give him 1 million and you're asking him to bring another rice, I want you guys to look at it. It's difficult. So now the business people are not saying truth to the government. They are afraid. So they will tell you, say, oh, we'll bring rice. The issue of rice today that we're talking about, from my visitation and analysis, the rice on the Liberian market is rare, R-A-R-E, on ground that the consumption level has increased. Why? In Cote d'Ivoire, you buy a bag of rice for $16.74. In Guinea, you will be looking at $18. I'm just giving you a hypothetical case. Now, Liberia is selling rice at $13. Eventually, you are encouraging smuggling. The Guinean, the port from Conakry to Zelekode is far. From Zelekode to Monrovia is shorter. So eventually, rice that will come to Liberia for some purpose, eventually will get out of the market fast because what? There is a push and pull factor. The Guinean will come in to get the rice to maximum profit in Guinea because somebody who going from Zelekode coming to Monrovia to get rice for $13, even if they sell it $16 or $17, they make a huge profit. Like what Cote d'Ivoire. So this guy will come in this guy that they pass through Liberia to purchase this right. How will government able to control that? And under the Mana River Union, you cannot prevent or circumvent the process. On the Mana River Union, you cannot say when you have a commodity, you should not go into another country, except there is a force majeure, where the international community come up for sanction that no goods should come from this country to go to this country. It's matter of compulsion that Guinea will come here once the rice price is low. Guinea will eventually come and get these rice from Liberian warehouses and carry it to Guinea.
Representative Koga.
Yeah.
Can we fast forward?
Yes.
Can we fast forward to the current issue, please?
Okay. So the issue of rice being on the market, yes, from the import, the story is true, but the evidence is false. The story that there is a rice in Liberian market is true, but the consumption rate has increased. So eventually, the typical Liberian that's supposed to have the right, they can't get it because you got outside forces entering into the market and smuggling these goods out of the country. So eventually, you will see that the rest that were brought yesterday, for example, you see, I brought 100 bales yesterday, but out of the 100 bales are supposed to last for 3 weeks. Within 2 days, the rice gone. These are the situation in Liberia currently. And more besides, let's go to another constraint that creating impediment for the process. APN terminal. The APN terminal concession agreement provides that MPA should be the one to dredge the port. And MPA, owing to the fact that she don't have control, absolute control, and what used to happen before, the tablet is almost like divided. APN terminal has certain portion that they collect revenue, and then MPA also have component. So the issue of the dredging of the port is supposed to be the responsibility of the government through MPA, and MPA now is not. She reneging on the process. So as a result, the send her encroach on the pathway where vessel plow to enter the Liberian to dock. So now no bigger vessel easily come to Liberia. So the smaller vessel that come into Liberia, they overcharge. And like you have 100 barrels of rice, and then you say you transport it to Ganta in a truck, 10-tire truck. The price with a taxi, only taxi from here to Monroe to Ganta. And if you give 100 barrels of rice for a taxi to carry, they may make more than 15 trips. So the charges will be varied. So eventually the taxi will charge more than the truck. So this is what happened in the rice industry. So when a smaller vessel are coming, they charge more and they bring lesser rice because the bigger vessel cannot pass through to enter at the freeport of Monrovia to discharge goods. That's one of the situations. And some of these vessels, when they at the port, you will see 2, 3, 4, 5 vessels waiting. And when the vessel is waiting because the road is narrow, one vessel got to come one at a time. MPA also storage in car.
So let's just move ahead. You'll continue the story, Representative Koga. Let's ask you some questions, please. My first question to you: is there rice in Liberia enough to feed Liberians?
I think you got what I said. I said the story is true, but the evidence is false.
What story is true?
The story that arrests his son Liberian Mage is true, but the evidence that will have arrest that will keep up to several months is not true.
Okay. Have you visited the National Port Authority recently in the last few weeks?
Yes, we've been visiting the port, but when the first incident occurred, we went there. The Commerce Committee went at the port. We visited the warehouses.
When?
It was some 2 months back. We visited the port. Mm-hmm. We saw some stock, but the importer told us clearly that we'll find it difficult when this stock is completed. We'll find it difficult for rest to come as you expected.
So my question go again to say you visited the National Port Authority 2 months back. Yes. Not recently though.
No, I've been there or recent, but the one that has to do with official visitation where the entire committee went was the one I'm talking about. But where I went
when last were you? Yeah, when last were you at the port? When last were you at the port?
I was at the port 4 days ago.
Did you see rice in the warehouses?
There is no rice in K&K warehouse. There is no rice in UCR warehouse. The quantity of rice in Futa warehouse is less. The only company today that has rice is Fuani.
So let me ask you again. Did you see rice at the port and in which warehouses? Then we'll put a picture up to see. When was you at the port? You said when? How many days ago? How many weeks ago?
I said 4 days ago.
4 days ago. Okay. Which warehouse you saw rice?
Monday. I think Monday or Tuesday. So yeah.
Which one the warehouse you saw those rice in?
I said Fuani.
Fuani. The quantity.
Fuani, yeah.
The quantity.
Well, the red I saw, I did not check, but I asked the manager, and he said that there is a vessel penny to enter, but the rest are there cannot last for a month.
Okay, so that's where we are.
Yes.
That vessel. Did you see a vessel at the port?
No, I haven't seen a vessel yet, but there is a vessel expected. No,
I'm not talking about expectation.
Sir. The issue of the vessel, in order for once to bring vessel at the port, there must be a permit because of.
No, we're not there yet. Representative, we're not there yet. I'm asking you a straight question.
I haven't seen vessel. I did not see
any. You didn't see any vessel. The only warehouse you saw, right? What was it? Only one warehouse or not the Fuani warehouse, correct?
The rice at SUA is less. 400 bear is nothing. So you cannot come.
The reason why I'm asking you, we have picture to show to our audience about those warehouses. We showed the vessel yesterday, the Mamar vessel yesterday. We have the picture, and the last quantity was 200 metric ton. All the rest gone. So you talk about 4 days ago to now. I will ask you to go back and clarify to the Liberian people, but I will come back with the rest of my question to you, because you are the chairman on commerce.
Yes, sir.
For us to talk to about moving forward. But I can tell you for sure, your answer that Unifuani had few back arrives, you were accurate. And I couldn't hold you there to say you was mistaken, because all the other warehouses are empty. Dr. Richardson.
Welcome to Spoon, Representative Koga. It's good having you. At least we can begin the process of transparency regarding the rice issue in Liberia. My question to you is, as the chairperson of Commerce and Trade in the legislature, did you ever, or are you thinking about calling in the Commerce Minister to present the issue to you guys in order for you guys to make more informed decisions as to how to move forward with solving this problem? What have you done as a representative in the legislature to help resolve this problem? Because I think I would like to also hold you responsible for this problem as well. Because that's you, the head of the chairman of the Commerce Committee. You should be updated. You should know what's going on in the country with rice and other commodities in the country. So could you please explain to us your process of bringing in someone to answer questions for you, and what have you done?
Well, thank you very much. In the first place, last week, this gone Monday was our leadership meeting. Periodically, on every Monday, the leadership of the house meet, and then the committee, various committee heads, will brief the leadership about the status of whatsoever committee you share. So I brought in a proposal that with respect to what is unfolding in the rice industry, Mr. Speaker. I think all of the rice importers need to be invited, along with the Minister of Finance, the LRA boss, as well as the Commerce Minister, to give all recent and clear picture and information that will help for all to disseminate to the Liberian people based on our oversight responsibility. Predicated upon that proposal, it was accepted. The chief clerk of the Republic of Liberia wrote, and they came on Wednesday.
Renee, can you call that?
It came Wednesday, and on Wednesday, the issue of the rice APN terminal came as well, because we wanted to know what are some of the bureaucratic bottleneck at the Freeport of Monrovia and etc. So when they came, the Minister of Commerce sent an excuse and sent a proxy, one Borrow, who is I think he's one of the he's served on the advisory board at the Ministry of Commerce. He controlled the property rights in Liberia. So he came to represent the Ministry of Commerce. And he was able to tell us, according to him, he said there are rice on the market, and there are vessels at penny, and etc. So having said that, the Minister of Commerce will ask that, yes, government make commitment to pay subsidies to those importers. Have you guys paid these subsidies? The information the minister provided was that they have given, first they have 11 million, 7 million to be paid to the business community, but out of the 11 million, they have paid 5 million. But according to information from the Ministry of Commerce, the money that they are receiving pay is 3.5. So predicated upon this inconsistency, the Speaker set a committee. I am the lead chair of the committee on investment, and the committee on state enterprise, to investigate those entities to see who is saying the truth and who is not saying the truth, so that we'll be able to emerge with the results and then let the Liberian people know. So there where we are.
I have a second question.
Go ahead,
Yes.
Dr. Richardson. Then we'll go to
Representative Kogar, are you telling the Liberian public today that there is a discrepancy between the money that was given out, was given out, and the money that you are hearing was given out to the importers? There's a discrepancy in that, and nobody knows where the money went. Is that what you're telling the Liberian people?
No.
Okay, please clarify.
When you talk about discrepancy, I think I don't tell me as discrepancy. I am saying there is inconsistency in the information. The Minister of Finance is saying that she has paid 5 million out of the 11 million to the Ministry of Commerce in her reports. And the Ministry of Commerce also said that they have received 3.5. So now, whether the Ministry of Commerce is playing delayed title or they pay the money, this is the reason why the committee has been set up to investigate, including APN terminal, to see when they will address the Freeport of Monrovia, because they said they will embark on the exercise, and eventually, from now to November, all will be okay.
So for the sake of not monopolizing the time, and I hope my other colleagues will pick this up, I am not getting this money business clear. So you saying discrepancy, I'm saying discrepancy, you're saying inconsistency. There's some money business that is not correct here. So somebody can clarify that for us.
Yeah, let's just go into this before Chairman. Representative Kogar, I beg you, sir, before the chairman and Kev come in with Toman and George and Dr. Peabody, please be very clear. How much You are saying the minister. You're not talking about minister.
The deputy minister, please.
Correct.
Let me qualify.
Because Mawani Dix didn't attend your meeting, correct?
No, I'm talking about the deputy minister for finance, for budget.
Okay, so let's get it straight. Deputy minister, Representative Kogan, let's just get it straight. Please, I beg you. Deputy minister for finance, you are talking about the person, Samora Wodokodi. Correct.
Yes.
You requested that Mawani Dix should appear. Did she appear?
No.
No.
The first meeting we had a month back with the committee, the Committee on Commerce and the Ministry of Finance and the rest Commerce and the rest importer, she said to us that she had received 3.5 million, but it's not yet clear. It's at the bank when the bank is clear, but she anticipated 5 million out of the 7 million that should have been.
Okay, if you said the first meeting,
when was that?
When was that?
It was 2 weeks back.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Okay.
Ago.
So just hold on. And in that first meeting, Mawani Dix was present.
Yes, she was present.
And she said how much was given to her ministry.
According to her explanation in chief, she said the money that were appropriated for the rest subsidy was 7 million. But out of the 7 million, she had received 3.5, but it's supposed to be 5, but the 3.5 had not been clear. So I asked her, I said, so when will you be able to pay this money so that the importer will bring rice? She said 1 week.
2 weeks ago,
within that period, she traveled and went to America.
Okay. So now, 2 weeks ago, Chairman, you're about to come in. I hope you get to know. 2 weeks ago, she said in 1 week, she will have the money to take care of the importers, correct?
Yeah.
The money that was promised was $7 million, but she said what the bank received as of then was 3.5 million, correct? Okay. Let's bring it back to the most current meeting you guys had. And the most current meeting, what was the explanation?
The issue of the commerce side, it was and somebody that proceeded on behalf of the minister. So he did not go in depth. But from my own investigative inquiry to the man that was sent, Boro, he said the ministry had received 3.5 million. That's the money. So I said, why is it that the minister said, the deputy minister said 5 million and you didn't comment? He said, it's government. We cannot attack each other in public. I'm quoting you.
Thank you very much. And again, guys, we want you to share this. And that's the reason why we are grateful to have Representative Samuel Koga on the show. The deputy minister saying that's government, we cannot fight, we cannot question.
No, not the deputy minister.
No, the representative, the minister that represented Mawani Dix. Samara Wodokodi saying $5 million. The comment saying 3.5. Where is the 1.5 million? That's the question. Chairman Ben Senvi.
Honorable Koga.
This is getting serious, Chairman.
I was taking some notes. Now, from what I'm hearing from you here is you like you said, discrepancies versus inconsistencies. So I'm not going to, but I'm going to stick on the subsidy issue. The issue of the subsidy, right? So according to the information that you received from the acting minister of finance, is that you're saying that he's saying 3.5 million was made available, right? That's what you're saying. 3.5 million.
He said 11 million were appropriated.
Was allocated, yes. Yeah.
Out of the 11 million, 5 million have been dispersed.
Okay. So there is. So what you were saying is,
there was a question asked, who did you disburse? He said to the Ministry of Commerce.
Okay. That was going to be my question. Had to do with how is it? So whatever. So what is 3.5 or 5 million? We can go back to that, right? But the subsidy, how was it supposed to work? What were they supposed to do? You ask, can you speak on this? You as head of commerce, what were they supposed to give the money to the importers before the import, or were they supposed to import, sell, and then the government gave them the money? That's why I'm trying to get the clarity. What
The,
do you have?
the decision or the conclusion they came out with was government made commitment that the business community should bring in rice.
Okay.
Upon arrival, there will be payment of subsidies based on the tonnage or the bag.
Okay.
And this guy brought in rice. The money was not on time. So they were owing some people 4 million, some people 3 million, some people 5 million, and etc. So this guy contention was government is asking us to import another rice. How can we import when the first agreement had not been met? So that's where the whole thing came about. So because of scarcity, they decided to fragment the money on people who, based on the level of volume of importation you made, they gave you some level of subsidy. As we speak, the previous rice that were imported, the subsidy had not been paid in totality.
Okay, so that answered that question for me. So my next question to you is, what happened? Is it that the people stopped from your investigation? Because I want to go by your investigation that you were making. I don't want to go by guessing or what we have been hearing. I want to hear it from you. What did the importers tell you? What did they do? What led to this? What led to this crisis, if we may call it? To rice not be on the market. Did they stop releasing? Did they stop providing rice to retailers because because the government did not pay them the money they were supposed to get, or did they just stop importing rice as a whole?
What is happening here is the issue of rice importation, for instance, where you got Cote d'Ivoire bringing rice, Guinea, and etc. And these guys, they are in connection with each other. So, for instance, when they found out that the warehouse is getting empty, they can go Cote d'Ivoire, right to Abidjan and load rice and bring it right away. Okay. The difficulty has to do with the money.
Okay.
So the government need to be committed to the commitment they made. So you constrain a businessman, and those rice being imported. Let me tell you, if you went to Swat warehouse or even Fuani warehouse, for example, you got SGS. Société Générale de Services. SGS is like a beaver. So they're serving there like a charity bond, where if you want to get right from the warehouse, you must first of all wire the money to your supplier. Then SGS will be able to release the rice to the buyer or to the man who's selling the rice in Liberia. And there's a service charge. SGS is charging 6%.
Okay.
Releasing the rice on behalf of the company. And the man who importing the rice is the one who inherit that liability.
I see.
Yeah.
All right.
So you don't just go out rather and get it right out. You must send the money to the supplier, and then SGS, the receipt will come to SGS. The quantity of rice that you supply, you send the money, then SGS will allow you to take the rice from the warehouse.
Good. So my last point, Senator, please, 30 seconds. So where are you right now? You are chair on commerce. What have they said? What is happening right now? Has the government made any payments to them? From your information, and are they bringing? Because we've heard, again, like I said, I don't want to do all the guessing. We've heard there's a ship coming. There's not a ship coming. We've heard there's some rice in one warehouse. What did your investigation or what is your inquiry telling you right now? Have people been paid? And when can we begin to see movement on this issue?
Yesterday, I was at Ministry of Finance. I got there by 10:15 a.m. I have gone there purposely to see the minister to give me starter reports. Because to sit in the office and invite the minister with a kind of a crisis, you got to come down, and exert all effort to ensure, because it is incumbent upon the committee to be responsive, meaning to tell the Liberian people the startup based on our oversight responsibility. Predicated upon that, I went there yesterday and I met the absence of the minister. And when I asked, he said she and her deputies have gone in the field to be checking warehouses, those who hacking rice and etc., to make sure that those areas, those people, some punitive measure will be taken against them and what have you. So I didn't see her. But I got an information from the ministry with respect to the SWAT manager. SWAT received, I think, I stand to be corrected, about 3 million United States dollars, part payment of or money or subsidies. So SWAT flew out of the country yesterday to go negotiate for rest vessel, so that the rest vessel will come.
Only SWAT?
So because they,
only them? Only SWAT?
I said SWAT.
No, I said only SWAT? Yes.
SWAT.
Other importers. That's
Yeah,
what
but Fuani was the payment. Some payment have been made to Fuani. There's a reason why they are bringing rice. But
Okay.
SWAT got home yesterday or day before yesterday. He flew out of the country and he are going in search of rice. And he
All right,
also.
I'm sorry, Mr. Representative Kogar. You've been very fair with the Liberian people tonight in answering our question. Guys, let's do this set in session. That will help us. This money issue, please, let's try to put our question on it. Then we'll move to the next step or the way forward from where Representative Kogar said. Okay? Representative Kogar said, just to overview, Ben, because you asked a good question, $11 million. Samara Wodokodi said that should be sent out. But he said we gave them $5 million. We gave Commerce $5 million. And somebody from Commerce said no. It's $3.5 million we receive. The question remains, because if you understand Samara Wodokodi telling you, say, I gave you $5 million, and you say, no, it's 3.5, then where is the 1.5? Somewhere down the line.
Information.
So that was him, right?
Yeah, somewhere down the line. Yeah, information. Thank you. Somewhere down the line, 1.5 is.
I want to provide information, please.
Yeah, him, because I was trying to.
I was very crystal clear. I said, in the midst of us at the meeting, Deputy Minister Samora Wolokoli said, out of the 11 million, government had disbursed 5 million.
Thank you.
And then the process that was sent by the Ministry of Commerce did not comment. But when after the meeting, I called him at my office. I want to, you understand? And I asked him, I said, is it true that 5 million has actually been given? He said, no, it's 3.5 million that have been given. I said, then why the man said it openly and you did not comment? Then he said, it's government. We cannot attack each other in public.
And the person that was sent by Mawani Dix, what's that individual name, sir?
Pardon?
The individual that represented the Minister of Commerce. What's the individual name?
I said Borrow. I don't.
Borrow.
That's it. No, Morris. I think Morris.
Morris Borrow. Okay, we'll find out his name, guys. That's why they stick it.
He's a famous guy at the ministry.
Yeah, I know Borrow. I know him.
Yeah. No, but thank you very much. Let's just go ahead now with this conflicting. Whenever Samara Wolokoli talk about money, it just doesn't go right. But we'll come to that. Kev Hassan, please. Dr. Peabody, Sentumalin Josh, and Mariah Yakula. Kev, please.
Stand up, baby.
I beg you, let Kev go ahead. I beg you, let's just go. We'll come to you.
And Representative Kogar, how are you, sir? I just want to go straight to the point. First of all, you're advocating for increase of rice in Liberia because Liberia is the lowest in our region. You call Guinea, Sierra Leone, and our neighbors, Ivory Coast, they're higher. So you call for increase of rice in our region. So I want to get that straight that you're advocating to increase because we the lowest, $13. You call $18, you call so many other numbers, which is higher than Liberia. So let's erase that. My question to you right now. At the port right now, there's preparation for vessel to come in with large amounts of rice. If that is yes, I want you to tell the Liberian people yes. And secondly, I want you to tell Liberian people that the rice that coming in was paid for. I want you to speak on that and be emphatically clear and just let the Liberian people know that straight out. I don't want us to go into numbers to this. If it was paid and there's a preparation for rice coming in our country, let's speak to that point clearly. I don't go over all the little things to confuse our Liberian people, because you know why I'm asking you this? The Liberian people want to know if there's a rice coming in, and the answer should be yes from you. So let's talk about that straight. Let's go to the point.
There is no huge vessel that contains rice coming into Liberia. No. Because no bigger vessel can enter the Freeport of Monrovia now until it's dredged. There are smaller vessels.
I want to confirm. Sorry, Seal. I want to confirm to you it is Greg as to speak right now. So I just want to confirm that to you. It is. So I want you to do your home study and check. It is, yes, at this moment.
Bigger vessel. I'm not denying that there is no vessel coming with rice.
Well, Kev, what are you confirming?
You made the bigger vessel.
I am confirming the port is being
what I'm here, I'm representing the constituents. I'm a factual. The history, what we're seeing here is
hold on. You ask the question, let the guest answer. Kev, hold on 1 minute.
Let me confirm it to him.
Kev, hold on 1 minute. Kev Hassan, hold on 1 minute. You ask the question, the guest answer. When the guest finish answering, you can come back and give and make your correction, please.
No problem.
So ask your question again. You want to be on the point, ask your question, and let him just answer you. Okay. What's your question?
I asked him, but I just want to add this. I think he got it. At this moment, at this time, the port is being dragged. So I just want you to know that there's a bigger vessel coming in with rice.
Being dredged or already dredged?
I'm going to confirm that to you right now. So bigger vessel coming in. So I want to confirm that to you right now. So when you're speaking on, you can do your homework, but I want to confirm that to you and speak on that.
Okay, then thank you very much.
Tomorrow morning, early morning,
thank you very much. Representative Kogar, hold on 1 minute. Kev Hassan, thank you. Let's go to the representative to answer the question. Representative Kogar, please.
Yeah, I said there are vessels coming, but they are smaller vessels. So to qualify that there are huge vessels coming, I said no. And I make it clear. I went in depth. That's the answer.
Kev, you have a second question?
Yeah, but it's a follow-up. So
it's your second question, sir. You have a second question?
My second question will be follow-up.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
So what I'm saying to you is that obviously you don't have the information what's happening right now. So you're telling me you're not prepared to come on the show to talk about what's happening in the country. So I think at this moment, as a chairman of Commerce, you don't have all the information. And I think for me, if I would say you're actually not doing your job to have all the information. So at this moment, whatever you say,
Representative, let him finish, please. Let him finish.
Whatever you say on the show does not hold water, because you don't know what's happening at the port right now. So because you don't know what's happening at the port right now, so for me, everything you say does not hold water. So you don't have the information. But at the moment right now, the port is being dragged because of bigger vessels coming in, and it's being paid for. So I just want to know, so you don't have the information.
Let Kev finish, please.
It doesn't matter what you say on the show at this moment.
Well, no,
all right. Thank you very much. I beg you, Chairman Ben, we'll come to you. You know, that's loud.
I just 1 second on this issue. That's all.
No, let's just leave it to Kev. Let's leave it. Chairman, be very fast. We got to go to the other.
No, I think Kev was mixing something up. And I think in the representative defense, he is saying that he's not aware that the port is being dredged. So he just said that he will go to the port tomorrow in the morning to go check. And the only way bigger vessel can come in is if the port is dredged. So if the port has been dredged right now, then it means the bigger vessel will come in after the port is dredged. I just wanted to provide that clarity. I think that was
but Chairman, again, that's why I don't want us to go. Kev Hassan, we are many on the show. Kev Hassan, we are many on the show tonight, and I don't want us to do the back and forth. As of now, while we are speaking, and I will say this to everyone, we are getting information. I'm here to say, Kev, the representative is right. There is no dragging at the port right now. Somebody is at the port right now. They are challenging you, Kev. They're watching the show. There is no dragging.
I will challenge that person.
Thank you very much. Dr. Peabody, let's go ahead, please. Dr. Peabody, let's go ahead, please.
Representative Koga, thank you for coming on the show, and thank you for providing this much information for us. What I like to find out from you again, you talk about some money being paid to some people.
Thank you.
Who are those people that receive paid? You talk about some that have traveled out of the country. Who travel out of the country, and what did they travel for? Is it an assurance that they've been paid, that the travel will bring the rice and things like that into the country?
The travel will bonus on some condition that, look, you owing us. If you can get some of our money, we'll be able to hustle. I mean, use that word. In the West African region to see if we can get easy vessel to come to Liberia. That is a fishing expedition. Now, the issue of those who all have been paid, K&K has received close to 3 million. Futa has received about 600,000. Sfuani has received over 2-point-something million. And then so far, Fuani, K&K, SWAT, and Futa. These are the people that receive subsidy. And these subsidies, it's like paying debt. And they are not yet complete the debt. Yet they are bringing in vessel, and you're asking them to bring rice. So there where they are skeptical. How will they, what guarantee do they have to bring in rice when the subsidy had not been paid for the previous rice that were imported? So that's where the tussle lasts.
So the ones that are out of the country now that are going, okay.
George Naimi.
Yeah, he's going.
He is one of the biggest importers.
Okay, but if, like you said, all these people, somebody are giving 3 million, somebody giving 5 million, somebody giving 1.5 million. Is it from the $11 million that was promised, or it was some other money? Where's that money coming from?
No. Dr. Peabody, maybe you didn't understand the representative. The only thing Samura said was 5 million given out. 5 million only. Nobody was given 3. Nobody was given 1.5. Nobody was given 2.5. No. 5 million. And Borrow from the Commerce Ministry said, no, we only received 3.5. That's it.
No, but that was then, right?
Okay, let me
He's saying something different.
Let me say, who have received money now?
Yeah, he keeps saying we receive money.
The money
So let me
came
answer
by
now.
indictment.
Okay.
2021 budget, they talk about subsidies. 2021-2022 budget talk about subsidy. Some of the 2020-2021 subsidy have been paid. They are not been paying totality. Even the current money they're paying currently is within 2020-2021 budget. The rest subsidy. So the current one is still dangling. So it means that the rest importer, the government is still heavily indebted to the importer. So they're striving, but they are afraid because government is a big hand. They are mover and shaker. If they say no to government, they may be implicated one way or the other. Mm-hmm. So what they are doing, they are other, okay, the only company that is solely and wholly importing rice is K&K. There is no other commodity attached. But Fuani got other commodities. So what is happening here is because the rest industry, they are banned in it and they cannot leave the industry. Eventually, a hard reputational problem. So they decided the other commodity they are bringing, whatsoever little profit they are getting, is what they are maintaining themselves.
All right, my final question.
Yes, sir.
You are the representative. You are the first chairman on commerce and
Chairman.
okay. But let me see here. What assurance can you give the Liberian people? Because you are part of this. What assurance can you give the Liberian people that there will be sufficient rice on the market?
If you ask me for my view with respect to the rice, if you give the business people their money, I can tell you that we will hold them and hold your feet to the fire because it's a commitment. It is in keeping upon them as a corporate entity to cooperate with the government based on the norms and value system. And the government too needs to protect life and property. You cannot allow investors to invest in your country and the climate is not secure. So you come out to say, I will give you this if you do this, and I have laid up to my promise, and you don't comply to mine. How do you expect me to live? So let's be factual to the process. I don't want to say a thing here on the platform that tomorrow the history will haunt me. I'm very factual of what I'm saying. So once the government owing the people, they will not tell the government the truth. They will be telling the government, okay, for instance, he said bring right. They may bring 1 metric ton or 2 metric ton. You still bringing right? But it's not the quantity or the quality or quantity of rice you need. But they are afraid.
I'm just confused because you said 1 minute somebody paid, 1 minute did not pay.
Again, that's a Peabody, you are quite correct. It's so confusing. But somebody again will go back to the same history of mismanagement. Somebody have put their hands in the cookies jar. When you hear the name Samira Woodokori and others, you begin to make you to tremble. That he's saying $5 million was given to Commerce. Commerce, Roland saying no, it's not $5 million. It's 3.5. Somebody just played with 1.5 million. And that's the question Liberians should be asking right now. Another legit situation, but we'll come to that. September and George.
Representative Koga, I just want you to please confirm this for me. What I'm hearing is that the money that was allocated to subsidize the importation were given to selective importers. And some of them, the importers that were given to are those who have ties with people in the government. People in government that have ties with people in government, they were given the subsidy. And those who did not receive theirs or whatever the case, they are the one who are saying now that they want theirs. And that how come the importation is falling behind. Can you confirm that according to from what you have based on your assessment?
Well, what my memory can serve me on is I can recall that K&K was the very first company that lived up to the commitment in bringing the rice into Liberia. And the money she received was not in totality. So K&K vehemently refused to import rice until government pay her. So the Minister of Commerce got annoyed that if K&K defy the government in the kind of crisis, then to get her money will be difficult. And the tussle is ongoing. But recently, I approached the K&K as well as the Minister of Commerce. K&K put in RPD, import permit declaration, to the Minister of Commerce to bring rice. So the minister was in here, and when they brought it to my attention, I called the minister. I said, Madam, we are in a crisis. If you get very with K&K, it will not happen. She said, Honorable, I'm going to sign the RPD. She has released it. But the only thing that I'm not aware of is the money that K&K, the government is owing K&K, what I have been paid.
Well,
so those who comply with the government with respect to bringing rice under rare circumstances are the ones currently benefiting the subsidy, but not in totality. So in order for us to get out of the nightmare, government just need to raise funds and pay the people. Then we can now load up to them for their corporate social responsibility by providing food on the market.
I understand, Representative, but from what I've heard so far, from what I'm hearing, the problem now, which I think you guys have oversight responsibility or the executive. Now, I think the ministers of finance, the ministers of commerce, they're the people that need to be asked questions right now to find out what's going on, because they're the ones who, because from what I'm gathering, the importers are a little bit falling short because of they have not received their money and so forth. But the minister of finance, the minister of commerce, they are silent. They are not talking, and there's something's happening. I don't know. Are you in touch with the Rice Importer Association chairman, the leader of the Rice Importer Association?
Yes, sir. Sir, I said.
And what are they saying?
A committee has been set up to investigate the Ministry of Commerce, Ministry of Finance, to know what is the status of the money, the subsidy you promised. And I said to you, the Commerce Committee is a lead committee on a committee set up by the Speaker. The Committee on Investment and Concession is also member of that committee, as well as State Enterprise Committee, because MPA will be involved, APN Terminal will be involved. So they got investment component, and you have finance issue. So for this reason, I mean, importation issue. So we are going to get to the Ministry of Finance to come and tell us how much were committed to the importers and how much have been paid. And then whatsoever information they provide, we'll get the Ministry of Commerce, whether it's actual facts that have been said by the Ministry of Commerce. That's the time we'll come to the public to inform the people about the status of the money. But the bottom line is, when that money they stay in limbo, you will find it difficult to get rest on the market. Nobody should fool you.
That's the problem.
Wow.
And CEO, that's the problem. I think with it. That's
the silence of the Ministry of Commerce. I understand. I'm so thrilled right now to hear from Representative Koga, just spilling this thing out and saying it accordingly as it is, because again and again, I know we'll come back on the second round. We still get Anthony Yakula and Salama to ask the question, then we'll go back to Chairman Ben, Dr. Richardson, to ask more questions. The money is the root of all evil, and the money is not being given accordingly. That's a problem. And I hope Liberians, I hope you are listening though. When we raise the issue, people think it was a joke. Even the money, they promised $11 million. 11. They were able to bring 5. The 5 couldn't reach the Commerce Ministry. Samora would have called in from all of them, said we gave them $5 million. Boru said, no, you didn't give us $5 million. You gave us 3.5. The question remains, where is the 1.5? Even though you are not giving all the 11 million, yet and still must you take something out? Ask your question, Mariah.
Thank you, Stanton. How you doing, Representative Koga?
Hi, Anthony.
Good.
Mariah.
So I think the first question is whether it was 11 million or 12 million, because and that's not my first question, it's just in response to what Stanton said. In April of this year, there were several reports that the government was giving $12 million to the importers. Now we're hearing about $11 million, and then we're hearing confirmation of $5 million being given. So I think the question is whether the legislature is aware of what's the exact amount that was promised to importers, whether it was 12 or 5, how much was given, how much received. And that's something I think the legislature have to use the oversight responsibility to ensure that we get the correct answers. But my first question to Representative Koga will be, and I took some notes, so bear with me as I look at my notes. When the president went to tour the rice warehouses in April of this year, he claimed that rice price would never go up under his regime. We know that rice price went up from $13 to $16, as reported by the media. But on that trip, he said, if you're a minister of commerce and you're not able to stabilize the rice price, then you're not a minister, and you need to communicate to the people so that they cannot panic. Unfortunately, the current minister of commerce has not been able to communicate to the people, and there is panic across the country in terms of the rice price and the availability of rice and affordability of rice on the market. My question is, given these circumstances and the president's pronouncement, do you think that the president should now dismiss the minister of commerce, since she has not been able to stabilize the rice price and she's not communicated to the people so as to avoid panic? And if he does not, do you think that as chair of the Committee on Commerce, that the House can have a vote of no confidence in the ability of the Commerce Minister to handle this rice crisis? That's my first question. My second question is, in previous administration, under Ellen's administration, the Ministry of Commerce usually released what they call the monthly critical commodity bulletin. That bulletin provided the price ceilings of key commodities like petroleum, rice, cement, the quantity that we had on the market, the quantity we had in stock in the country, the monthly consumption of each of the products, and even the pending orders that importers have put in. Do you know, as head of the Commerce Committee, whether this bulletin is still being compiled and released by the Ministry of Commerce? And if it has not, or it's not being released, do you know why they stopped taking that data in terms of keeping the country informed, or the leadership informed of how much rice we have on the market, what's the price of the rice, how much it's being sold for, what quantity is in stock, and how much have been ordered? That would be my two questions.
Well, thank you. Let me first of all start with the, can I say the last or the first? Bulletin is a kind of information that is disseminated for the consumption purpose of the, for the purpose of the public consumption, in order to know and regulate themselves as to how their commerce is being operating or is operated in a given country. So it is a function. But during Manasseh time, yes, there was periodic briefing. Even a quarterly report that used to come at the House of Representatives. It will give you the projection about the quantity of commodity that will enter the country. It will tell you qualitative and quantitative of the goods. And then based upon that, you will get to know where you're standing as a commerce, as a chair on commerce, so that we will be able to brief the leadership adequately. And then if you also went for constituency visitation, you'll be able to tell your constituents within the constituency what is unfolding. That is not happening currently, I must admit. Then the question whether, if you ask of my opinion, whether the Minister of Commerce should be dismissed. You see, the issue of constitutionality, it is the sole prerogative of the president. The article, I think Article 56 of the Constitution gives the power to the president that at the will and pleasure, all cabinet ministers should function. So somebody could be there and the public outcry will come and say, no, dismiss the person. It left with the president to say, yes, I will dismiss or I will not. So it's a tricky issue. But quite frankly, one of the shortcomings of the Ministry of Commerce has to do with inadequate inspectors. The fulcrum or the conduit of Ministry of Commerce, by which information are disseminated clear to the public are the inspectors. The inspector division needs to be resourceful. They need logistics. What are this area is then focused on the Ministry of Commerce, because they will determine at the various commodity site or business site on wholesome goods, whether the goods are permitted to come in Liberia Commerce. They will see and the expiration dates and the production date, and then periodically, based upon that, the bulletin will come out to tell you that. And the Ministry of Commerce should be able to project and tell the Liberian people that, okay, we have 15 frozen companies in Liberia. Out of the 15 frozen companies in Liberia, because we don't want any rotten goods on the market, we will regulate the RPD system. This time, John Brown will be 10 containers, meaning you have known the consumption level of frozen material in Liberia. You will be able to inform the public to be aware. It will avoid.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Are you coming in?
Yes, complete your thought.
So that information dissemination actually is lacking, I must admit.
So, Senator, may I just a follow up to that? When did the Ministry of Commerce stop releasing that bulletin, and why, as head of the Committee on Commerce, what did you do about it? Did you ask them why they stopped releasing the bulletin, the information on these key commodities? And on the issue of the question with the president dismissing the Minister of Commerce, it was in twofold. If the president does not dismiss the Minister of Commerce, can the legislature have a vote of no confidence? I mean, there's precedent where the legislature have had vote of no confidence in government officials who were acting at the will and pleasure of the president. Is it applicable in this case with the legislature and you as head of the committee in the House believing that the minister has not adequately addressed this issue or is incapable of addressing this rice crisis? Would you guys consider a vote of no confidence in the minister if the president does not dismiss her?
Well, Article 3 of the Constitution talk about 3 separate branches of government, but you have coordinating power. The coordination there is the president nominate and the Senate confirm, and then subsequently the president appoints.
Right.
Now, the power of vote of no confidence in a minister may not be workable, but there are methodology that you can apply. If you realize that the minister is inadequate in terms of performance, they can be strong related through budgetary appropriation. That, no, Mr. President, this woman need to go because she's not performing, or this gentleman need to go. If the president renege, the only power the legislature has is any budgetary projection made from that ministry, you either hold it because that person is not working, but you cannot say.
All right, let's go to Senator.
They passed a vote of no confidence. For example, I believe the legislature had a vote of no confidence in Madam Mirabeau. The legislature also had a vote of no confidence in other ministers, public officials under Madam Sirleaf. Are you saying that that wasn't legal or that wasn't applicable or is not applicable to this government, that the legislature cannot take a vote of no confidence in a public official?
If you say no vote of confidence, madam, it is a prerogative of the president to accept or reject. But the legislature is to reprimand them through budgetary appropriation because the legislature are the one who appropriate funds. So if you are not satisfied with certain institution and you feel that the only way you can capture them or to make sure that the president take a decision and say, well, we'll make you dumber. We have that constitutional principle.
Thank you very much.
We'll give business salary to the staff, but other logistical means that you will perform will not be given.
That's the entire ministry instead of just the minister. Because the question is, if the minister is not performing, can the legislature have a vote of no confidence in the minister? If you go to budgetary,
we'll come back to that, Mariah. We'll come back to that. Let's bring in Salamatu. Salamatu, welcome to the Spoon Talk. Your question.
Yeah, hello. So I've been trying to follow up on what the representative has been talking about. And I must say, sometimes, it's very difficult when you're in a tough situation to hear the backdrop or some of the other issues that contributes to the current problem. And as I listened to the representative speak, he was actually pointing out a lot of the issues surrounding why there may be a shortage or no rice in the country. And one of the things I will say, I don't think anybody can come on the show and say with absolute certainty that there is absolutely no rice in the country. I think the issue is there is the shortage of rice, and we're not really clear if we will have rice, which is very, very disturbing. The last time I was on the show, from what I knew about the rice situation in Liberia, I explained this. And it seemed like this is exactly what's happening again. When I kept saying data. One, you have a very small group of people who actually bring rice into the country. When Madame took over and, when you hear, there's only 5 or 6 persons bringing rice into the country, and most of these people are not Liberians, they're foreigners, the outcry is, oh my God, why we let only 5 or 6 people bring rice into the country? She wanted to open the market up. And from our understanding, there was a meeting held and it said no. this commodity is very sensitive. There's a lot of sensitive issue that goes around the rice industry. So instead of opening it up, what we can do, we can allow the people to bring in the rice, because number one, they have the capital to be able to go outside of Liberia and bring the rice in. They had the means of doing it, meaning they had people outside that they were already working with that can bring the rice into the country. We also understood that the agreement was there will always be 1 year of reserve rice in Liberia. And the way the government will keep track of this, Mariah mentioned that, is that there will be monthly meetings held surrounding these political, they used to call it political commodities. Now they're calling it critical commodities. But it's the rice, it's the petroleum, and it's the cement. We will sit at the table. We will work with the importers of these commodities. We will find out what's coming into the country, what's going out of the country, what on its way coming, that will be here, when it will be here, to just make sure that we're not even touching our reserve, but we're making sure we have enough commodities in Liberia, right? And Mariah asked the question, when did the meeting stop? The meeting stopped. I work at the Chamber of Commerce as the Secretary General, so I was privileged to be a part of some of these meetings. The meeting actually stopped when the new government took over. It's sad to say, for whatever reason they stopped doing it, it stopped. If you go on the Ministry of Commerce website right now, you will see a lot of the reports, a lot of the documents. It stopped in like 2017, 2018 when the government took over. And one of the violations of the WTO is lack of transparency. Transparency is one of the most important mandates that the WTO requires Liberia to do. We're supposed to be transparent with our trade reports. We're supposed to be transparent about our procedures, our policies. We're supposed to be very transparent in the sense that the information has to be accessible to the general public. That if John living in Timbuktu wanted information on Liberia trade and how to do business, they're supposed to go to an accessible place to get the information. And what is more accessible than the internet? So if you go and Google, I honestly went online as I was watching the show just to see if somebody would make me ashamed that they will put data in there that would say 2019 or 2020. No, it's from 2017. It stopped. Most of the report stops at 2017, and there's a couple that stopped in 2018. So we're no longer having these meetings. If we're having these meetings, we're not putting out the reports, because this is the data you're supposed to be looking at to determine if there's rice in the country, if there's rice on the way. So in case when you run into a problem at the port authority with the dredging situation, this dredging situation, that's not nothing new. It's nothing new. Or till we blaming APM terminal contract. I went in the comment and I was trying to explain to someone, APM terminal is a company. They're there to make money. That's why they came to Liberia. When they came to Liberia, nobody wanted to touch our port. They didn't come there overnight. They came when nobody else wanted to give us money to fix the port. We didn't have any money. We didn't even have any international credit. As you can recall, that was one of the things that Madam Salif did for us, to give us this new credit line for us to be able to go into the international market and get money. So, and by the way, I don't work for APM Terminal. I've never worked for APM Terminal. They're not paying me. But again, you sit in these meetings, you ask APM Terminal, hey, look, the people have a problem with you. What is the problem? And they start to tell the story that, when they came in Liberia, the port was damaged. You should, the next time you guys are in Liberia, go take a tour of APM Terminal. See where it was and where it is now. They put up the money with the whole goal of getting the money back. They didn't put the money up because they were an NGO. They said we'll fix it here. In time, we will get our money back. Now we set up a contract with MPA and we say, okay, MPA APMT was APM Terminal, I'm sorry, they will do XYZ, the National Port Authority will do XYZ. We are not even living up to our end of the bargain. The dredging sounds like it's a minimum, it's not a big deal. But when you're running out of rice in the country and you're saying, oh, rice on the way, and then the ship can't come into the country, and everybody on the schedule. You may not be on the schedule in Liberia, but everybody is on the schedule. What will happen if that ship vessel decide, you know what, we tired sitting in the middle of the ocean? Because I've seen it where we actually sitting at MPA and we're looking at the ship sitting in the middle of the ocean because they cannot come into the port. All right. The other issue with the whole port authority, when there's so many different moving parts that at that port authority, because we're talking about the rice now. Maybe that rice coming into the country, maybe it's sitting somewhere waiting to come into the country. When the rice come into the country, go through the level of procedure it takes to clear a good out of that port authority. You got a bank, you got APM terminal, you got MPM terminal. APM said, oh, we close our gate at 9 o'clock. MPA said, well, we close our gate at 5 o'clock. The trucker said, at your business, oh, we going home at 4 o'clock. The bank closed at 2 o'clock, maybe 12. System down and try clearing your goods from the when it leaves the vessel to bringing it outside of the port to getting it on the shelf in the market. When you start running into a lot of these issues, what happened? Yeah, rice may be coming, but when is the rice coming? When will the rice get into the country? So, you know, I mean, it wasn't so much of a question that I had, but I think the representative actually touched on a lot of issues that is contributing to our uncertainty if we have rice or we don't have rice. And I will state this again, you cannot just go into one warehouse at the 11th hour, see rice sitting somewhere and say, oh, we are okay, rice is here. That's not how it works. There's a reason why we're having this conversation, because I think everybody on this platform understands what can happen with our staple food that we are not producing when there is a shortage with that staple food. It's not to say, you know what, we don't like the government, or we don't like this thing. It's to say, you know what, we know what has happened in the past before. We don't want to see it happen again. I think as you guys were talking, one of the questions that I did have, I wasn't sure how many importers do we now have? How many importers do we now have in Liberia? Because at one point it was 5. It was 5 of the major importers. How many importers do we now have in addition to the 5 that we have? And also, these companies, with all due respect, you know, these companies are very successful companies. Why did we have to subsidize them? The top 5 company. And for me, I just want to understand that part. If there were new importers added to this, then maybe that the funding sort of kind of makes sense for me. But I would like to know, how many importers do we now have that are actually trusted to bring rice into the country, that are part of that Rice Importers Association? And 2, why did we have to subsidize some of these very wealthy companies that had the access to, for money and the means to bring the rice in? I will stop there.
Thank you. Salamatu, we want to say thank you very much. We appreciate your thoughts. And we'll come back. I know you're asking a question, but let me bring in Chairman Benson, Dr. Richardson, as we go around the table one last time before we open the phone line to the folks. Where I'm going to rest my case, Chairman, I know before you proceed, is where is the people money, the taxpayer money, Samuel 12 posted on this network and other network, that the government will be spending between $11 to $15 million, right? Giving that to the importers. Samora Wodokoli, you gave him $5 million, and he said that the $5 million was given to Commerce. Commerce saying, no, Samora, you gave us only 3.5. How can you trust Samora Wodokoli with money? And now the question remains, where is the 1.5 million? Even so, as the representative said, borrower said no, they only got 3.5. Liberians need to hear this. The government should be a government for the people. And you can continue with the rest. But Chairman, go ahead.
So let me say here.
Before Ben coming, can we talk a little bit about the dredging of the port? And I think that's important for people to understand what that means. I'm not an expert on it, but I worked at the port under Madam Matilda Parker, and I think I understand what the dredging means and what it entails. And I think it's important that people understand it, because it's very key to how major commodities come into the country, and why, when the representative said the port not being dredged stopped bigger vessels from coming to the country, it was important to note that. So I just wanted to to speak about meaning on it.
Just hold on. After Chairman, Dr. Richardson, I will give time to you.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Chairman, go ahead.
So a couple of things here, and I don't want, and again, I want us to be very, very careful and particular on this issue because I scale of their rice business. When it comes to Liberia and rice business, you know, I'm always very, very careful with what I say when it comes to Liberia and rice business. But Representative Koga, thank you again for unpacking a lot of things that you talk about. I was taking some notes. I want us to go back, and I think Stanton brought up this money issue, which is very important because I think we need some clarity on it. Mm-hmm. And I also don't want us to, you know, I know sometimes there's a tendency for others to just say, you know, the money loss. So you said something that was confusing to me, and I think this will clear up some of the questions we have. You mentioned that $3.6 million went to this importer. I think you said K&K, correct? Or SWAT, one of them. Representative Koga, are you there? Seems to be frozen. Oh.
Yeah. You know, as I said, the money had been coming consistently, I think, about 3 years. I said,
so Representative Koga, sorry to interrupt you. I beg you, Representative. Let's talk about the last amount.
Yeah,
the last amount was intended. Yeah, the last amount. The meeting we had with the Minister of Commerce, she said 7 million should have been given to her to subsidize the process, but she had received 3.5, and she expecting 1.5 to be 5 million.
Okay.
Out of the 7, but 11 million was appropriated in the budget.
Good.
So when we have an emergency meeting yesterday, day before yesterday, the question was posted: how much have you given the Minister of Commerce or to the rest industry, Mr. Acting Minister? And he said we are giving 5 million to Minister of Commerce because she has a oversight responsibility. And I reiterate, the fellow that came as a process for the Minister of Commerce was present when that comment was made. He did not utter a word.
That Roland Morris.
So when we left after the meeting, I said, Roland, I would like to see you. So he came to my office. I said, I want you to be fat. I want you to get a clear picture. The situation that going on, I'm not informed in totality. How do I explain to the Liberian people about this situation? And the minister just returned. The money sucker, then he said, the money that was given in actuality was 3.5. I said, then why is it that the minister said he gives 5 million and you didn't talk? He said, government official cannot attack, most of the executive branch cannot attack each other in public. Now what I said.
Okay, good. Thank you for that. So that's what I was saying. So where I was trying to get to was when you said, because you said you had this meeting 2 days ago. Is it 2 days ago you said? Two or 3 days ago? Good. So a couple of days ago, so it's not a long time.
Wednesday
But then you also stated, and this
Friday,
is
right?
Today is Friday. Yeah. So Wednesday you had this meeting.
Or Wednesday.
So because you also stated 3.6 was given to one, 2.5 was given to another, and 600,000 was given to another importer, right? You also said that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said it.
Yes. So my question, when you add all of those numbers up, you're around almost $6 million, at least almost, because 3.6, 2.5, whatever, almost six.
So Ben, let's just go on the record, Ben. Let me interrupt you.
2019, 2020, there were money appropriated for subsidy.
Go back, Ben. I beg you, sir. Let me say this.
That's what I'm confused at. All the number.
Representative, please. I'm trying to understand Ben's question, and we hope the audience can understand it likewise. We are talking about the most recent allocation, that which was promised by Summit 12, 2022. It should have been 11 million, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Let's just forget about the
previous money that was
2021.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. You're missing my point. I'm asking him, there's 3-point-something million he's talking about. They're not 2019 I'm talking about.
Yeah, Chairman.
I'm asking him to clarify because he said George
If you give me
Niamey
change, I
left
will
the
clarify.
country. He said George Niamey left the country. So my question is, what money did George Niamey receive before he left the country? Was it old money or
new money?
Money. That's
Go
the
ahead.
question I'm asking.
Very good. Now, let me make it clear so that every one of us will understand the point.
Who received the money? Who are the importers that received?
From one budgetary period for about 3 years. And out of within the 3 years, all of the money starting from 2019 up to now, all have not been paid. You understand? So they pay some of the money of 2019-2020 budget, 2020-2021 budget, and 2022 budget, 2021.
How much were allocated?
Now, there was 17 million, 7 million, and 11 million. These are separate money. And out of this money, some have been paid before, but the current one that came, that should have been 7 million, but they gave, according to the minister, he gave 5 million, and the Minister of Commerce said they received 3.5. I'm making it clear, it's the current money from the 11 million budget. But the past year budget, the money, they are not paid all in totality.
All right,
That's
so can
the
I
issue.
come back? Good.
Go ahead, Chairman.
So the money that George Niamey received was last year. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it was part of his debt.
From last
the
year.
current
That's
money he
all.
received. Yes,
Good.
yes.
Do
exactly.
you know from an oversight perspective, do you know when he received that money? Do you know?
I said
And
this
you don't
week
have to know.
he received. George Niamey received this money either on Wednesday, between Wednesday and Tuesday.
So you see, that's
I'm very
where I was
optimistic.
going. That's the point I was trying to make.
Wow.
So that's what I was trying to get to. So almost $6 million or $7 million or whatever the figure is, I stand to be corrected, was paid out this week. Is that true? Yes or no?
No. You are getting me. I said within the 3 budgetary periods, there are money that was allotted to pay these people, and the money not forthcoming. So it's in the form of. Hey, you understand what I'm saying?
I understand that.
Last year they paid K&K around 2.some million. They paid Fuani. Starting from last year, coming to this year, K&K received separate money, but the budget of 11 million that is intended for 2020 budget.
So you just answer my question. That was my confusion. And I'm glad you did.
Okay.
That was the confusion I was having. The confusion I was having was because you bunched everything up together. When you said George Niamey received 3 point something, K&K received 2.2. That's why I kept asking.
Yeah, that was separate. It was separate.
It was separate. So the only money you are aware of today that was paid off was the money given to George Niamey this week.
Exactly.
That was the question that I was.
The question,
trying to get the clarity.
The question the lady asked about why you guys subsidizing these people.
Yeah.
Dominic, can I?
But Ben, you don't get to.
We got one more question, guys. Real quick.
What you say, Dominic?
You ask a question too now, Ben.
Okay, answer the question.
I was next, please.
No, the question why.
Yeah.
You see, one of the problems that we all face in this country is the partisan syndrome. But most of the issues and the question you're asking are blamed with the legislature on grounds that
that's exactly
in
what I
the
was
democracy, in the democracy, excuse me, sir, in the democracy, where you had a president here from one side, you had a speaker of the house here from the same place, you had a pro tem of the house, the Senate from the same place, you had a deputy speaker. These are mover and shaker. A temper with votes. So those are all who voted for the people are the ones who made a mistake. Because if the power were balanced, there would have been argument.
Right now, the rest issue.
You understand? There would have been argument when this group is saying no, the other people will stay. But because the power we one side, eventually they will override the process. So I blame us, I must admit to you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Let's just bring in Dr. Rich. Guys, one question each because we got to run. It's almost 6:30.
I'll be quick. I'll try to make my comments. So, Representative, again, thank you for coming, and I appreciate your transparency here. Am I hearing you say that money, 17 million, 7 million, and 11 million was already allotted in the budget, but these money were not given to anybody? So my question is, I'm wondering what happened to the money.
In the first place, budget has a law. If you appropriated for 2019, 2020, and you appropriated money for road construction, and the project was not earmarked or the deal was not consummated in terms of bidding process, and the money was not appropriated or transferred to that ministry to effectuate the project, and it left with the ministry of finance in the period the budget elapsed, eventually, then you cannot get that money. That's some of the problems. And it's a budget law.
So as Chief
the commitment that was made to the importer, some left in limbo and the budget elapsed.
Limbo.
So as a result, every year they are indebted to the importer.
Okay. So then I'm sorry, I'll just be brief again. So you understood that this money was in limbo, but yet and still there was still voting going on from this first 17 million was in limbo. Then the second 7 million was in limbo. And then now we have another 12 million that was voted upon and put in the supplemental budget. So nobody stopped to say this money is in limbo. Let's ask more questions. Let's not vote for it, or let me lobby my colleagues to not vote for it. Maybe you did, maybe you did not. Maybe you can tell us.
At the legislature, Robert Rules said that the majority, the minority had their say and the majority had their will. You will talk and talk. Once you don't have the votes,
you talk and talk.
Who are?
Yeah. Just for the record.
You should check the record of the legislature. I don't want to praise myself. So you please do a research.
I can attest to that. I say I can attest to that.
Okay, I'm saying this to say that, when government is focused on one side, people can be biased. Misuse of power come in. Power drunkenness come in. And they feel that whatsoever they do is necessary. That's one of the problems we face here.
Thank you very much.
So if a budget were appropriated within a big given period of year and the money was not spent, you'll be out of the 15 million, for example, you spend 3 million out of it, and the budget elapsed, then it becomes mute.
You
then
see,
you have to copy another budget.
Representative,
so that was the problem.
Representative, I think if you will, we'll need you again in studio. We hope you can join us again tomorrow if you can. I'll be very frank with you. You've been fair with the Liberian folks tonight. You make mention of the 17 million, of the 7 million, and 11 million, total 35 million as of date. And we are still having this problem in the country. When Samuel Toy Samora Wodokori, in line with the Commerce Minister Mawani Dees, the entire government, the executive.
See, I want to ask one question.
I'll bring you in, Kev. I'll bring you in. We're not going. I'll bring you in. I will. It is frustrating for us to sit here. Even the most recent budget, Samora Wodokori lied to you that he gave this Commerce Ministry $5 million. Roland Morris said, no. It was 3.5. Liberians who telling the truth and who lie. How can we play with our fellow Liberians in such a wicked ways? But these things needs to be investigated.
That's the question. Is there an
investigation? This thing need to be. What are you guys doing? Did you open some form of investigation? Who running away and who's stealing from the Liberian? I hope the government, but who cares? The government will not listen because tomorrow the president will be playing music, enjoying himself on his birthday.
I think the legislature needs to do an investigation.
I will not hold our folks on. Dr. Peabody, you go ahead. Kev Hassan, you're gonna come in. Mariah,
you sent me after Dr. Richardson.
Oh, go ahead, Anthony Yakula. Go ahead, Anthony Yakula.
Thank you. Yeah, let me remind you. I really wanted us to talk about the issue of the dredging, because I think even if 100 million is given to importers, if the dredging isn't completed, they're not going to be able to bring bigger ships into the country with the quantity of rice that needs to be done. And like I said, I'm not an expert in shipping and port management, but I did work at the National Port Authority in 2011 under Madam Matilda Parker. And that was when the ship was undergoing a lot of reform. So I do have a good idea. And I also assisted her as secretary to the board. So in 2011, I know that NERAS was a company that was hired to do what we call the Port Masters Plan. And part of that was around the issue of dredging. Of course, the dredging basically is removing the sand and the silts from where the port docks so that the ship can float and not sit on the bottom on sand when it docks at the port. And so to be able to ensure that you have larger vessels that can bring several thousand meter tons of goods into the port, you have to dredge in a way that allows for about 32 meters for the beam, which is like the width of the shape, and about 12 meters for the draft. Currently, right now, we basically have about 28 meters beam and 9.5 meter draft. So any ship that is bigger than that size will not be able to dock because the port has not been dredged to its pre-war status to ensure that we have bigger vessels docking. So these rice vessels that come in with several hundred meters tons to the port, you will not be able to have bigger rice vessels bringing in rice to the port if the port is not dredged. And that is also a bigger issue with that. But the thing about dredging is you don't just dredge one time and not dredge again for another 10 years. You have to dredge periodically. So for example, I know and remember that 2011 and stuff, there was dredging done at the port. And then even in 2017, I remember they had reported that there was dredging done. But since 2017, I don't believe that this government has dredged the port. And so the actual dredging capacity to allow for bigger vessels has been reduced significantly. So you can have bigger vessels come to the port. So even if you put, I know how many thousand bags of rice on a ship to come to the port, they will not be able to dock. And as Salimatu said, they will end up sitting in the middle of the sea because they cannot dock to be able to get the rice out of the ship. So I know that in August, the NPA signed an agreement with APM Terminals to borrow about $6 million from APM Terminals to dredge the port. And the reason that is also an issue is because ships are also supposed to pay fees to the port, and part of it is supposed to be fees meant for dredging. So the government is supposed to collect the money that ships are paying for dredging, put in an account that when there's a need or the time schedule for dredging, they already have the funds to dredge, and not to borrow money from the company running the port. And it is in APM's Terminals' interest to dredge the port because they also run a business and they need bigger vessels to come in. So if the question is, what has the government been doing with funding of fees? I know that the U.S. sanctions on the port manager was part of the fact that he had taken 1.5 million of port fees and put it in a private account. But the question is, what have they been doing with fees that these ships have been paying? Remember, we have the second largest maritime program after Panama. And so we do have a lot of ships flying Liberian flag as well, but we also have ships coming into the country. And so when these ships are paying the money to the port, part of that money is supposed to be put in an account for periodic dredging so that you don't reduce the size of ships that come to the port. And this is what's affecting us now, because even whether it's FUTA, any of the importers who want to say, okay, we have a rice crisis, mind you, Liberia consumes about 8,000 to 9,000 metric tons of rice in a month. And the newspapers reported last month in September that we had about 8,000 or so left in the country, 8,000 bags, rice left in the country. And so you know clearly by this month, by October, there's a shortage. So even if you want to import thousands or 50,000 or 100,000 or whatever amount of rice into the country, it's restricted because the dredging has not started. And Kev said the dredging has started. Kev, dredging is a process. They have preliminary processes. They have several other things that they need to do before they start the actual dredging. And when you look at the reports, they say that the dredging will not be completed till the end of the year. So the question then is, What's going to happen to the end of the year? We're just going to have smaller ships bringing in smaller quantity of rice because the port is not yet dredged to enable us to have bigger ships that can come in and solve this issue at once. But I think it's important that Liberian people understand what the dredging is and how that connects to the shortage of rice on the market.
And also, just to add, right, it's not only rice vessel, it's just all, because if you're not only collecting money
Correct.
for rice vessel, you are dredging for every bigger vessel that coming through the port. So then the reason why Bid 12 collecting $6 million, signing that contract was a very, very dangerous one, because they are paying. They are paying. And where is that money? And that's the question you have to answer. But let me just bring in a representative Kogad, then Kev Hassan, Dr. Riches, Dr. Peabody, and Sanamatu will wrap up this session for us. You know what this problem? I see you crying, Representative Kogad. It's like you've been fair to Liberians tonight by telling us the truth. Why your party is in collaboration with CDC? You know, all this mismanaging stuff. Why are you in collaboration with CDC?
Well, I think if you listen to the press release of recent by the People's Unification Party, we were clear that we are not in collaboration with anybody, but our doors are open for negotiation, because we are not proffering your presidential candidate. So absolutely not. We are not making commitment to any political party. So that information is not factual.
I about to put up the press release. I about to put out your agreement, your collaboration, your party, Senator Nukwe. I about to put all these things up. But let me give the other panelists the chance to ask you a question. If we cannot have that conversation tonight, yeah, why are you laughing, Representative?
You got it.
Because you seem to be resourceful by telling me that you're going to put our communication.
Yeah, because I have all your communication, your voice recording, everything, your agreement, and other stuff. But if we do not have the time, because you've been fair on this rest issue, we just do one round quick, and then we'll bring you back that you can clarify. You're willing and dealing with CDC.
Tomorrow, I don't mind. I can appear tomorrow.
I respect you. Somebody already told me that you're a man of your word, and I appreciate the fact that you even show up today. So let me go to Kev Hassan. Kev Hassan, please. Yes, sir. Thank you, Kev.
Let's make this clear. The dredging at the port, the process has begun, and we all know what happened in there. And I know my sister Mariah trying to play politics on it, but like I said yesterday, it's not time for politics. Let's talk about the issue, and we'll talk about the issue though we on point. But the process is going on. People on the ground, and it's something that will happen. So we're not going to go into the politics of this, and I hate when we do that. When we go into the politics of it, I think it's completely out of bounds to collaborate people on a serious issue. My question to you, honorable man, the 11 million, was it approved by the legislature?
Oh yes. Both, the legislature. Thank you. Once you say legislature, yes.
So both houses approved the 11 million.
When you say legislator, yes, sir.
Okay, so that's why you're saying it was approved. Okay, so I just want to get that out there, and we will dig deeper and see actually if it's factual. But do you have any documentation you can refer us to see that it was approved, the 11 million? It is in the budget that if we read the budget line, it was approved, 11 million.
Admissible to one is admissible to all. for the fact that they were admitted by the minister that 11 million were appropriated, and out of the 11 million, 5 million have been paid, is by evidence. But the only discarding thing so far, like I realized since my being at the legislature, is the delay by the Ministry of Finance. I don't know whether it's deliberate, because budget, that instrument, in order to be a law, it must come from the House and subsequently go to the Senate. And when that is done and printed into handbill by the president, that bill should be printed that all lawmakers have in their possession, so that they will be able to have an insight with respect to appropriation that were made for the various land ministry and agencies.
But are you saying this because my investigation, before I ask you this question, I tried to reach out to the ministry to see whether the 11 million was approved by the legislature, and they said that's not true. You understand? So that's why I'm asking you this. They're saying that's not true. There's no 11 million.
Sir, I did not say it's not true. You ask whether it was approved by the legislature. I say yes.
Yeah, and they're saying that it never said it was approved.
It was approved. But anybody in the absence of the appropriation that's sanctioned by the legislature that spend money is illegal. Constitutionally, it's illegal. It's a violation.
Yeah, but
if the
but
government is engaged in
are you saying
that
the
they need to
11 million was spent?
as you say,
Because you know why I'm asking you? Folks are saying 5 million was spent, right? So folks are saying 5 million was spent. Are you saying 11 million was spent?
sir,
Because folks are saying 5 million, and
I
this
haven't told you.
did not
I haven't
approve
told you
11 million.
that 11 million was spent. I haven't said it. I haven't said that. 11 million were appropriated. Out of the 11 millions, 5 have been reported, paid to the Ministry of Commerce, and the Commerce is saying that she received 3.5. Now, what I said.
Kev, hold on 1 minute. Kev, hold on 1 minute. Let it representative answer, please.
So,
Go ahead,
yes, we are
Representative.
aware of the 11 million being the budget. We are aware.
Thank you, Representative. Because we're running against time, we got to bring it back to Peabody and Salam
I just want to ask a quick question in there.
No, we'll come back to you, Kev. We'll come back to you, Kev. Dr. Peabody, please.
Representative, thank you again for coming.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for providing the information here.
Yes.
As I said, you try to explain it, but the number are conflicting. When you say 11 million was appropriated, 5 million or 3.5 million was you. How much were appropriated for 2022 when it comes to for the input? How much were appropriated?
The rest was 11 million.
It was 11 million that was appropriated.
For 2022, yes.
And out of that 11 million, you say 5 million was already paid off, right?
The minister said, the acting minister said, not me.
Oh, the acting
and the
minister.
Commerce minister also said they have received 3.5. During the meeting I had with her, she confirmed that.
Because,
But
I mean, let me ask you this question. Have you communicated with the Minister of Finance, the Commerce? Because it seems like we have a lot of conflicting numbers here. Because
No, it's not. Dr. Peabody, he just told you.
If we are
Dr.
holding
Peabody,
government,
Deputy Minister Samora Wodokodi said to him in a meeting that they gave the Commerce Ministry $5 million. Because he's the acting minister right now. Because he's the acting minister right now. A senator is in Delaware having party. So he is the acting minister right now.
But I
To
think,
be frank.
but what I think the representative need to do is, because we are giving out information that are very important to Liberian people, I would ask that you go back, speak, and get the right number so that so we can really get it out there to Liberian people. But as far as I'm concerned here, I am just blank because.
Thank you very much. You can, after your anniversary, you can call me. We'll meet at the casino and I will help you out better.
But just for the public, I think the supplementary. I think the supplementary budget had the 11 million approval in it.
But let's make it clear. Let's make it clear.
Yeah, no, Honorable Kev will come to you. Honorable Kev will come to you. I know you have to do your information minister work Honorable
No,
Kev will
he's in
come to
DC
you.
on the wall.
Honorable Kev,
What
please,
are you talking
please, I
about?
beg you.
Yeah, man.
I beg you, Honorable
I
Kev,
just want to
stop,
bring back
stop.
clear.
We are
The
not
minister
asking you
in
to make it.
Delaware.
We are not asking you to make it clear. He was just there this weekend having party, and he's coming back. Don't do that thing. Don't make us to show picture on the show. Don't do that. The man was having party in Delaware. Do not
No,
push
he's
me,
not.
Kev.
He's not.
Kev, do
No,
not
he's
push
not in
me.
Delaware.
Do not push
So
me. I'll
who's
start
saying
showing
the
you
He's
truth?
text
not in
Spencer and
messages.
Delaware.
Kev.
Don't do
He's
Which
not
one
that.
are
in
y'all saying
Delaware.
the
Yeah,
Don't
truth?
do
let's
that.
discuss
He's
the
in
No, don't
issue,
push
I
me,
know
man.
that
man.
he's in DC.
Yeah.
No,
100%
don't do that on the
believe
show.
the
You
minister
know
is in
exactly.
DC.
You know exactly what
He's
you must
working in
discuss. Don't do that.
on
So
the
let's
But
move
Spencer,
on.
Kev say you
No, he's not in
lying.
Delaware. It's not.
Mariah,
No,
thank
yeah,
you
let's
for thank you
discuss
for
the
pushing
issue,
on
man.
fire,
Y'all
Mariah.
stop.
That, that move on. That forget. That move on.
Yeah.
That move on.
No, but
We
thank
got
you,
a guest on the
thank you
show.
very much.
It's not in
You see,
Delaware. I mean,
let me say this on Representative Koga.
He's in DC.
With this information, we want to say you're a very, very generous person tonight. You are. Okay? I was trying to show you this before I bring our sister
Representative
Simon.
Koga, did he take that 30,000?
I was trying to show you this.
Who is
You remember this, Representative Koga?
Did he take 30,000 too?
Representative Koga, you remember this?
What?
Well, what is on the screen? Can you see it?
What's that? Oh, PUP.
No, I'm not seeing anything on the screen.
I parted document.
All right, so
I'm not seeing it, please.
yeah,
I'm not seeing
trying
it.
to I'm trying to read it to you because I know maybe you don't have the computer in front of you, the laptop. So I'm trying to read it to you.
Oh, it was just signed recently. It was signed yesterday.
That signed is a document that was signed on the 26th of September 2022.
So
You guys
maybe
know
get that
that.
information
And also
4 days ago.
your resolution, People's Unification Party resolution. Mariah shared it with you guys in the chat room, isn't it? I think it's there. And all of this information, I know because of time, I really don't want to hold you. I want us to have enough time as to why you think you're going to work with this CDC government, knowing everything you know today and all the revelation you have brought forth. Why are you working with the CDC government? And I want us to talk about your leader, Nukwe, saying he's not endorsing McGill to run for senator, the senatorial position in McGibby. I'm giving you a heads up right now. If you want to come back tomorrow for us to have this serious conversation, it will be helpful for those in McGibby. It will be helpful Liberia. But on the rest issue tonight, you nailed it. I understood it. 17 million allocation, 7 million, 11 million, total 35 million. As of today, this week, Samara would call it lie and say whether it's a lie or true. He gave Commerce $5 million. Commerce said, no, you gave her 3.5. We got to start asking Mawana Dees, where's the money? Asking Samuel Tuer, where's the money? Asking the president, where's the money? And you know who suffer? The people suffer. The people you about to hear from tonight. Those that been standing on the street. And we played this BBC interview today. Listen to Liberian crying. Listen to them crying. Those that been on the street, representative, begging for bread with our government official. Just listen. I will follow it before we bring Sarah Salamati.
There's a shortage right now. Suppliers can't find enough to distribute and sell.
Before the premises of the only Lebanese-owned company, which is at the moment selling rice in small quantities to anxious buyers, company security guards and police are controlling a surging crowd of desperate people who have come to buy rice. Many have spent weeks and nights here, hoping in vain to scoop small amounts of the commodity, which is disappearing so fast from the market. The tears of the visibly frustrated buyers in queues are similar and heartbreaking.
We are business people. We are not street sellers. We are going through a lot of tension. For me, I left my house 3 days that I'm really getting the rights. So that government really found solution to the problem.
Are you a retailer?
No, I'm a wholesaler.
So what's your own experience?
My experience is that you come to buy. If you buy like 500 bags, they refuse you. They say you're only taking 20. We slept here last night. They back to present. We are staying here. You come from where Ganta, Nimakante, come here. They give you 20 bags. Just the transportation. So that you are losing. And when you come here, you sleep on ground.
I came from Mount Bagley, Lower Johnsonville. The buying system is very difficult. You will come here and sleep. When you buy it tomorrow, you will come by 11 in the day, 11 a.m. Sleep on line, rain can fall on you when day break, no selling. When you want 100 beds, they demand you to buy something that costs $340 some more USD for 100 beds. Send 4 days now, I've been sleeping here for 20 beds, I can't get it.
Some people have fainted, while others have sustained injuries from the confusion. The management of the rice importing company admits that there is a crisis they are managing. James Doe Gibson is the company's consultant.
Most of the rice importers do not have rice in their stock. To the best of my knowledge, we and SWAT are the only two with limited supply of rice.
So you are just 2 importers for now?
We're only the 2 importers who have rice in stock.
Right, and so how long is it going to last?
Well, our rice we have now supposed to last for about 2 weeks. 2 weeks, then we will not be selling rice because we will not have rice.
Oh, so 2 weeks from now, there will be no rice on the market?
Well, from our side, 2 weeks from now, there will be no rice.
Gibson also responded to buyers' complaint that they are made to purchase non-food items from the company as a precondition for being allowed to buy rice.
What happened is that we bring other goods in the market to sell, and by being overwhelmed by all these people coming into our business house daily, we cannot sell anything else except rice. As a result of that, our distributors, people who buy 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 to maybe 1,000 bags, we ask them to buy something else. At least we'll be making some money to pay wages and salaries because we have 413 employees working here, and at a loss when we're selling the rice, we cannot pay their salaries.
Okay, so it is true that you sell some non-consumable items, but only to also buy huge quantities of rice.
Those who are buying the rice to sell, we ask them to buy something else.
But that's against their will, though.
Well, it's not against their will, but that's the condition we find ourselves today. When you buy less than 100 bags, nobody asks you to buy other commodities.
Committee on the rice crisis on his return from the UN General Assembly, President George Weah said he didn't believe there was a rice scarcity because importers had told him they had rice to last up to next year. He, however, said he was going to look into the matter and ask people not to. He said, listen to the noise in the streets.
Jonathan Pelele in Monrovia.
We give thanks to Jonathan Pelele. As always, you know who the guy is. He's very, very straight up. We appreciate him for us to play this BBC VOA clip. We want to say thanks to you, Jonathan Pelele, and the VOA group. Salamatu, you heard the clip. I understand you know the terrain very well. But now, this is believing, man. Something strange is happening on the Liberian market. Talk to us.
Well, again, you know, it seems as if we like to run into, when we get inside the problem, then that's when we start scratching to try to figure it out, how to resolve the problem. And again, we keep saying rice. We all know that's a serious issue when we run out of rice in Liberia, or if there's a shortage of rice in Liberia. But what I do want to ask the representative, because it's easy at this point for us to say, you know what? Yeah, we all dropped the ball. Okay, moving forward, are we going to now request that the Ministry of Commerce hold these critical meetings on the critical commodities, and not only hold the meetings, can they release the reports to the public? That's how we spoon. Every month they have it, then they release it, put it on their website, then they send it out to Spoon, so that way everybody have it here, and Stanton, you guys can go ahead and release it to the general public. Is he willing, his committee, the legislature, are they now willing to hold the Ministry of Commerce accountable in holding these critical meetings, so we know what's happening with rice, so we know what's happening with petroleum, and cement is the other commodity. The other point that I wanted to make was that, Representative, you do know that there are technical people at the Ministry of Commerce. There are technical people, and I'm saying people who are expert on trades. These young people were educated. These young people were trained. These young people, I know for a fact, the Swedish government has poured a lot of money into trade capacity building. The U.S. government has poured a lot of money. So when you see the people getting mad and throwing sanctions all around here, it's not just because somebody redirecting money from one account. These are some of the money that they are losing because these technical staffs are now sitting at the Ministry of Commerce and they are dormant. Because why? They're not seditious. When we could be using that knowledge that they have to better our country. When the country is moving in the right direction, who will care what party you belong to? So if you don't know, Representative, there are experts at the Ministry of Commerce. There is a whole group of young people that were specifically trained to handle the WTO and other trade-related issues. They are sitting there dormant. I know that for a fact. So I would suggest perhaps maybe you reach out to them as well to get some light on some of the things that are happening or some of the things that we need to be doing in order for us to start preventing some of these issues from happening. And the third thing, this one is a little personal to me because I think I mentioned this to Timberly once when we were when we chatted. We need to start talking about the Liberian business law. The specific portion, what is referred to as Liberianization. Liberians can sell cup of rice. But to hear that we actually spending all of this money subsidizing companies, and look, I support all businesses. I love large businesses. I love small businesses. But we have a group of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in Liberia. They make up more than 80% of the businesses that are happening in Liberia. And majority of them, or overwhelmingly a majority of them, I want to say close to 90, are Liberian-owned businesses. It's very easy for us to get back into the corner, take money and give it to large corporations because, you know, that political commodity. But these are some of the businesses that have been limited to the Liberian people. And our limit, we are reserved to sell rice by the cup. You know, and I say to the representative, have you guys reviewed the business law? Have we started a conversation to say, you know what, Liberians can do more than sell rice in the cup? What are these laws? Why are we so eager to support larger corporations that have made money off of this same topic that we're talking about? These companies have made money. They've made a lot of money on the rice issue. 2-3 years ago, we were talking about opening the market for everybody to be able to bring in rice. And I remember at one of the meetings, the importer said, well, you know what, let's just get rid of our rice that were in the reserve. We don't want to lose money. And then y'all can open up the market. Whatever happened with that conversation? We right back to where we now start. Oh, there's rice shortage. Oh, no, there's not rice shortage. Do we want to see people jump on the street before we realize that it's a serious problem, that it's not a partisan issue? I mean, I honestly appreciate the representative coming in, and he was speaking on a lot of the issues that affecting the fact that why there's a shortage of rice, you know, at the port. That very port authority, one of the major frustration, being at the Chamber of Commerce, one of the things that we wanted to do was reduce the number of steps it took to clear your goods out of the port. Because this is where businesses spend a lot of unnecessary money. When there's supposed to be 5 steps, and guess what? And I increased to 20-something steps. We were able to take the steps down from 24, I think, to about 13 steps, which was a major improvement. Overnight, they caught the cargo tracking number company came, CTN. It came overnight. It took the steps back up to 22 steps. For that very CTN, people went to jail. People got deported. That remains out of the country. The CTN didn't do anything to better the process at the port. The Liberian people, you know, we jump up, we protest. The companies we see that they want, we can yell at, and that's APM Terminal. They're there, but APM Terminal didn't bring CTN. It was the Port Authority, the now sanctioned minister of the managing director that is now sanctioned by the U.S. Government. Why are we not asking these questions? We came to the legislature. The business people brought it to the legislature, talked to the legislature. Nothing was done. In fact, most of the very business people, they got threatened. One man is not, he been deported for the past 4 years, illegally. And we're still having the same problems at the Port Authority. And we're wondering why we're running out of rice. As Stanton said, they're not only rice that come through that port, 80% of commodities are coming out of the country. So if our largest,
I understand you're gonna hang with us. I know I'm getting into that frustration myself. The representative have to leave. It's 7 p.m., 11 p.m. in Liberia.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, Stanton. I have to leave too.
No.
There's a business association event here.
Okay.
In Minnesota. Yeah. That I have
you're in Minnesota. All right, but it's good to have you. You come back next time when you can. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, guys.
Yes, I'm at you. All right, so Representative, man, thank you, man. You've been very, very nice to the show. Tell us exactly what you want to tell us. Do your closing, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow, sir. Talk to us.
Thank you very much. For me, I had a motto, and my motto is, I'm married to my job, and my woman married to me. When I leave my job, or when I'm dismissed, eventually my woman will leave me. So I don't take my job for joke. A piece of task for
you. Are you taking re-election?
Pardon?
You taking re-election?
He's doing his closing. He will be back tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it to say that what Salamatu was saying, I have gone through those places. The liberalization law is very clear. But the implementing aspect is one of the impediments we face with. And all borders on commerce. Lebanese men are supposed to be selling Dungafle in Liberia. Used car. Rock crossing. Same money. All these things. Ice cream making. Ice selling. The reason why the framework of the law carved the law in a way that everybody will benefit. A Lebanese merchant will come with millions of dollars to invest in Liberia. You are capable of bringing 15 containers in a year or a month. But the Liberian will sell in a shop maybe 2 barrels of medication or other things for a year. Pharmaceutical products supposed to be retailed by Liberian. But if you check all over in Monrovia here, all the pharmacy is owned by Western North. How can you bring in 15 containers of pharmaceutical product? You retail at the same time you wholesaling. It's circumventing the liberalization policy. It is incumbent upon the Ministry of Commerce to implement and enforce. I have gone and invited these people, and I came out with a findings and recommendation I submitted to the Ministry of Commerce. The records are currently in my office. Or recent, we are embarked on an exercise of those that importing vehicle into the country. Car dealer, Lesica, United Motors, Car Motors, and all the companies. We realize also that most of the car industry, they are taking due disadvantage toward Liberians. If you check and do due diligence, no vehicle in this world that you will buy without warranty. If you went to Europe warranty on a vehicle is 7 years. If you went to Asia, the vehicle warranty on vehicle in Asia is 5 years. In Africa is 3 years because of the terrain. These measures are not being enforced in Liberia. You will buy a brand new pickup today if you carry the Bluetooth and your fuel point gas pour on the road, they will tell you say that the gasoline you use. You will buy your own fuel pump. It's not supposed to be so. Everything that is being sold in Liberia on vehicle, there must be warranty guarantee from the factory of production.
And that's why we need you to come back tomorrow, because you know this.
So this thing, we are on top of it. I just want to say that we are doing our work. So tomorrow we'll elaborate further.
Yes, sir.
So I want to stop right here to say thank you ever so much. And it's a privilege that a man from Nyongoma Pleu that were elected by the people of Electoral District number 5 will come to the platform to make a case. So I'm very much delighted, and I want to appreciate all of you, and I want to encourage you guys that this issue should be not politicized, but either we should be, in a way that we will do things that will enhance the betterment for our country. Thank you very much. May God bless
Thank
you.
you, Representative Samuel Koga. We appreciate you. Have a good night, sir. Thank you. Yeah. This is wonderful. It's wonderful to have Representative Koga on the show. I am so disturbed. I will just wait tomorrow to make my closing. I don't even want to close tonight. I can tell you this. I'm disturbed, Mariah, because you know what? We have come a long way. We have come a long way asking for the change. We have come a long way asking for the day in which we see Liberia and we see people prospering in Liberia. We have come a long way hoping and trusting God for a leader that will be so kind and be so caring for the Liberian people. We have come a long way. For some people that in position to play on the fellow Liberians, like they are animals. They can dash onto them that which fall off the table, the crumbs. The representative says 17 million, 7 million, 11. People that are involved in stealing, they stay being associated with George Manawia, president of Liberia. People that are involved in massive corruption, they will steal and even steal the little the poor man or poor woman have. They will be at George Manawia party, President Weah party tomorrow, celebrating and drinking Hennessy XO. But we ask for hope for change or change for hope. That's my frustration. That's my frustration. That's my cry to the good Lord. Help us, oh God, and redeem your handmaid. Every night we sacrifice. I am not well all day. Chairman Ben Sambi expecting another hurricane in his direction, but he's still on the show. We don't know what St. Money George going through. I can tell you that the Herman P. Bison will be celebrating anniversary with his lovely wife. He's on the show sacrificing. Look at this, guys. Look at this. This is the Dr. Peabody. Look at this picture. He's supposed to be out there enjoying with his wife, beautiful woman, on this anniversary. He's here to give the information. And those same people will take the Liberian people money and they will jump around to play kakalika and say Liberians are stupid. Because they will come back tomorrow and say, Sao, Kwaku, you strong. It's too bad. Yeah, that's my closing. I'm doing
You say you're not doing it, that's why.
No, Morale make me to do it. That's my closing because that's not where we should be. 2022. That's not where we should be. That's not where we should be, people. I may love my friend. You know why he just texted me? I'm not calling his name. He gave me the Bar West Coast and crew just now. That's why he just texted me. And I laughed.
The president?
No, not the president, not the president. Don't get me into that thing. One of my friends I sit here on the show just now. And I watch it. And I laugh. Because you know why? This is about Liberia. is bigger than our friendship. This is about Liberia. It's bigger than our relationship. And we will say this every day. Enough is enough. Liberia deserves better. And I close on that note. Chairman Ben, please.
Well, let me say this, and I will reiterate what I said earlier. I'm praying and hoping that we find a solution very fast to this rice issue, because we can do all of the talking, but there are real people who are involved, who are being affected by this crisis. So I'm really hoping that from all indications, like I said, I've been reaching out to folks to try to get information, and they're saying that they are working overtime to resolve this. Folks from while we were on the show, I reached out for some folks with the Ministry of Finance, folks in the legislature. They're saying that the money has been paid and stuff like that. But let me say this, the most important thing for me is whether it comes to the issue of governance, like you're talking about this 17 million or this other million, there is a reason why we have different different branches of government. And I'm glad Representative Koga is a very vocal representative. I'm going to say to them, they need to do an investigation. His committee needs to do an investigation in this matter. I believe the investigation, and I was taking some notes when he was speaking. There's some questions that I think that they need to answer as a third branch. As an oversight. Okay, how much did the legislature approve? And I was writing it down because just that we were plenty. I didn't have time to ask all these questions. How much did they approve for rice in the special budget in 2022? I think he says something about 11 million, but then it's under dispute, right? How much has been paid against what was approved? Look, when a representative and the chairman of a committee comes here, he should have those answers because he's speaking to the people, right? So, and I agree, I appreciate his candor, I appreciate his openness, because he said he's going to be back, right? How much has the government spent in total over the last 2 fiscal years when it comes to this issue of rice and subsidy or whatever the situation is, right? Instead of us speculating, instead of us saying, well, this one and that one, our elected officials, because they are our direct representatives. The executive, that's why you oversee the executive. And I'm not taking them out of this, because I think yesterday we talked about that. Okay, which impetus gave received the subsidy? He was a little vague on that. He was. Okay, for me, an investigation with some of these questions will be able to answer and give us some clarity on this issue. We'll be able to give us some clarity on this issue. Then we leapfrog to the greater issue of why do we always have to come back to this situation? Why do we always have to come back to the issue of rice? Why did we sit? Why did our government sit and wait for our storage facilities to get empty? Why? In this country, in this democracy, I know Kev always like to bring out America. In this democracy, there will be congressional hearings on issues like this. Public, open congressional hearings for us to hear. But my fear, and this is the fear that I have, that because this situation is so sensitive, people, and like you said, Stanton, and everybody has said, there are real people going through these issues. I was listening to the BBC thing. So Representative Koga, I'm sure he's listening on his way home as chair on Commerce. I don't know who's the chair in the Senate. They need to come together and they need to ask some questions and let the executive provide the information and be able to speak to the people directly. They are the people's direct representative. Because the people from the folks from Finance Ministry is saying that they paid. He's saying that the borrower said no. So for me, I will end on this note. In the end, the issue of systems and processes That has always been our issue. And we need to start to have a realistic conversation as a nation. We, the people, instead of I understand your frustration about the leadership. But guess what? The leaders we elect are us. We, the same Liberians. We're the same Liberians. The representatives we elect, they come from the same communities. So I will appeal to us on this platform as we proceed. Let us continue to elevate the conversation. Let us continue to hold our government and our leaders accountable. Okay? Let the committee investigate this thing. Open it up. This thing has the potential. This thing brought problem in our country. There was issue. And that's why I'm so afraid. Not because we don't want to talk about it. No. Let us fix this problem. No, 2 hours, I remember when he was supposed to come on this show, wasn't he? You remember Senator, he said they were judging the port? I just remember it. Where is the oversight? Why? So, gentlemen, I'm glad that we had him, but I will urge us to elevate this thing and continue to ask these questions and put our people in the mindset. But tonight, let us hope and pray that this problem is solved. And I'm hoping that the messages that is being sent and the messages we are receiving, I'm hoping it's solved so that our people
Thank you, Chairman.
What they are going through.
Chairman, let's go to Dr. Richardson. Dr. Richardson, thank you for sharing this with us. As you see right there where you see rice subsidies, $11 million, Minister of Commerce. Yes. Yeah, it's right here. It's right there. It's right there. As you can see, if you're watching us, that is for the 2022 budget. All right, that is for the 2022 budget. And out of this, the representative said $5 million. Samara Woodhull said in the meeting $5 million was given to Commerce. Ronan Murray said no, it was only 3.5. The question remains, where is the 1.5 million? Everywhere Samara Woodhull go, that's trouble. Dr. Richardson.
Yeah, I want to be grateful and thankful that we had the representative come here today to provide more information to us. But I also want to say that as chair of the Commerce and Trade Committee, the representative reported that based on the meetings that he held with the government and the importers, this rice problem that we have had has been a long-standing problem. But yet, there were continual voting for money for rice in the budget. There was 70 million, there was 7 million, there were 11 million. So I am wondering, what happened to the legislative reprimanding the executive branch? Like he told us that he has no power to fire the Commerce Minister, Mawani Diggs. But he had power to reprimand the executive branch through oversight and through reviewing the budget. So he didn't speak on that. Today, there's a difference of 1.5 million in the budget that is unaccountable. And this is unacceptable that such large amount of money that could be helping the Liberian people is unaccounted for. I hope, as Chairman Ben said, there should be further investigation done for the Liberian people to know where that money went. The chair told us something which, just stuck with me, that the subsidy program is not working. It's not going to work. But he blamed partisan affiliation. He said, well, everybody in the legislature tend to vote with each other, so we can resolve this issue. So he knows this problem is not working, but there was no way for them to sit down and brainstorm other solution to this rice subsidy problem. My basic conviction tonight is we learned a lot from the representative. And the more that I learned, and the more reason I feel that the president should not have an elaborate celebration tomorrow. I'm stronger in thinking that he should be identifying with the people of Liberia because he is the chief citizen of Liberia. So he should go out there, as somebody suggested earlier, be finding out what is the problem with this rice issue, providing food if he can to Liberia, although I know that's just a temporary problem. Find out the problem, because this problem of having rice shortage in our country has some long-term psychological effects on our people. And it bothers me that people will be suffering. They will suffer anxiety, they will suffer depression, they will suffer from PTSD just because of hunger. So I hope to hear the representative come back again so we can explore more of this issue.
Listen, thank you very much, Dr. Richardson. We appreciate you. Dr. Peabody.
I think you guys have said it well. You know, I don't have a lot to say. I just continue to keep the people of Liberia in my prayers and my best wishes. But what I will say here is that the representative came up. He did make some good points, but I think he should have gone farther. You know, they should have taken action before it got to this stage. So, you know, we hold the government responsible. But also, the legislature did not do their due diligence, especially in bringing these things to light, to actually call for some congressional hearing on how it should have been done. He didn't know the amount. He didn't know certain things. He was conflicting a number, and then he said he went to a meeting. They said only 3,005 were paid. When he asked the guy said, "Oh yeah, that's government," but he just remained mute on it and did not say anything about it. You know, I don't think it should be like that. You should come up and hold others responsible. But all in all, I mean, it was a great show tonight, and we continue to pray. We don't want our country. We love our country, so we pray that the government will take the necessary action and so that this whole issue of rice can be resolved. We don't want our country to get into chaos because of rice. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see this government fail at all. I mean, we want Liberia to move on. Liberia been through a lot. We don't want this is a complicated issue. So we'll continue to keep Liberia in our prayer. And so I will hold all the legislature, the government, hold everybody responsible. It's not one person issue here. But we'll continue to keep Liberia in our prayer. As I close, let me also wish my wife happy 19th anniversary. We thank God for 19 years. I don't know how she dealt with me, but we thank God. So, but she's been patient, a good wife for 19 years. We thank God for.
Happy anniversary.
And then my birthday tomorrow.
I
wish the president happy birthday too tomorrow, and I'll celebrate mine too tomorrow. Thank you.
Don't celebrate. Nobody having no party.
You chose your wedding date the day before your birthday, so you can get double celebration.
Double celebration. So what I did was I'm definitely.
Why you want to take that people to the casino for your birthday?
That's something we
can do that after that.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Kev.
Yeah, man. No, I can't. You know what?
So, Kev, we'll wait after Josh, and then we'll finish up between you and Mariah. Gentleman and Josh, please.
Well, with 376 days before the first ballot is cast in our elections, if I was a president who is seeking re-election, I don't think, especially with rice as a major commodity in our country, I think heads should roll, because these things are embarrassing. Heads should roll, and if I was advising the president, shouldn't let the embarrassment.
Do you think the president know that, Gentleman George?
I come in, but I think heads should roll, because they kind of embarrassment they're causing on the eve of the election. It's an embarrassment for him, but that's why the president should exercise the political will to fire some people. And like I think Akaros Great just said too, I agree with him that they must do investigation in the House, oversight to find out this money that was allocated, what happened to this money. Because trust me, something happened, and there are people involved, whether from the executive branch or whatever the case. They must account for it. It's a serious thing. The president shouldn't just let it be what rest comes tomorrow. They give it to they spread in the market, then over with no. And then president. When you are embarrassed like this, somebody got to send a resignation in. Somebody got to go. They shouldn't just let it go. But if this crisis come and they solve it tomorrow, and nobody no hairs roll, they're up to the president. But that political will, he should exercise it to be an effective leader. And I just pray and hope that before next week the issue should be resolved, because right now the reports we're getting from BBC we heard today is so disturbing. People are not getting the food. People come from Ganta. The lady said came from Ganta, been there for night in, night out, can't even get 20 bags of rice. We want to buy 100 bags, you got to buy something that costs $350 US. For what? It's not fair though. But you should have investigations for these things to happen because it's a serious problem, and the issue of rice is up. I mean, I lived long enough to know that what happened with rice. The president's got in trouble for that, and I've been in Liberia now. But Mr. President, on the eve of your birthday, I pray and hope that somebody has a role. And happy birthday tomorrow. It's his birthday. I wish you the best. God bless you and give you good health. And just before I end, Dr. Peabody, congratulations again, 19 years. And Michael Bobby Boo will be inaugurated tomorrow as president of the Uniboy in Georgia. My best wishes to you too. And so, thanks, guys. God bless.
Congratulations, Michael.
Thank you very much, Sintomani George. Kev Hassan, you and Murar, I'm going to give you the option. Do you want to go first, or you want Murar to go first?
It doesn't matter where you want.
Thank you very much. You go first, Kev.
Okay. Let me say this. The government empathizes with what's going on right now with the people. It is a serious issue, how the people feel. But when you put politics into this, that's where the problem is. Mariah and the rest of the opposition, unless they don't want to see, they know that 17 million into the budget, or 17 million allocated in the budget, doesn't mean that 17 million is sitting there. We should know that that's projection. It all depends on the performance of the of areas of the budget. It depends on the performance. So when one come here and say, "Oh, 70 million, we don't know where the other go," it's wrong. Because everything that is in the budget is projected. It's not sitting somewhere in some corner, in some bank. So let's say this: if 17 million is projected for a rise, but all depends on the performance of the budget. If the budget perform poorly, 17 million will not be there. So when you read the budget, you see projection, you see 17 million, then you start asking, where the money go? Where the rest of the money go? No. I think it's the duty of us need to educate our people that when the budget is being signed, it's projection. It's simple. This government for the past 5 years will always subsidize on this rice issue for the past 5 years. So for folks to say where the money we're going to, I will urge investigation and see that a projection of 17 million doesn't mean 17 million is sitting there. The same old opposition, when the budget was projected and say to 700 and something million, they came on this show, on our show. They say it's a projection, it's not there. They said it. But when we come now and say, yes, it's a projection, so it doesn't mean some area are performing. If that money is not, if some places are not performing, if the budget is not performing at that time, how would you say 17 million is giving? It's as simple as ABC. So I think when we leave the right issue to educate our people, and somebody says 17 million, like the way they say 16 billion were missing, which 16 billion is 100 and something $1 million. That means that that the Liberian people money plus 25 million plus all the money they talk about this government thing is over 200 and something million. But people still talking about 16, 25 and this and that. I think it's our duty to educate our people, because it might be you tomorrow. It might be your government tomorrow. So what will happen? We will keep going through the cycle. That when the government tomorrow, for example, Mr. Cummings projected that his government is going to be $1 billion. His budget is going to reach $1 billion. But what he's not telling how it's going to be 1 billion. How? So let's say Mr. Cummings show how. If it's not performing, will his budget will be $1 billion? Because when we sell it out on tomorrow, if Mr. Cummings become president, then what we will say? What is $1 billion? Oh, Mr. Cummings still $1 billion. It might be you tomorrow. It might be you tomorrow. Projection of a budget, it doesn't mean money sitting there. So when folks on this panel, bright people, intelligent people, we ask where the money, because budget was approved and said they're taking the money. We need to ask. Yes, it was approved, but with our budget we're performing, how much we're giving? The lawmaker didn't even say how much. Oh, 11 million. Okay, let's come to how much we're giving. The lawmaker cannot explain that. He just said 11 million were approved. Well, how much? So what we are talking about here, we need to speak to our people, because the service to our people, and I'm not going to put it down to Liberia. I'm going to say Black Africa. Black Africa is misleading information. What they're telling us. What they're telling us. You know, I remember clearly. They told us that they'll bury 200 children alive. Some of us hated some kind of dough for that. But as we grew up, we knew that that was a lie. Where are those parents? We're doing that so much. So 17 million were allocated in the budget. Does that 17 million perform? There was 17 million were given. We need to ask that question and investigate. Then to make an allegation, oh, somebody took the money. Where the money? My money took the money. This person take the money. I think it's false. I think it's wrong. I think it's misleading. I think we have to speak to our people the right thing. So that is wrong. That's all I get to say. Because if something happened to our country, I want somebody to go sleep and say, I spoke the truth based on lies.
Thank you, Kev. Antonia Yakula, you have the rest of the time, man.
Thank you, Stanton. I think the only person on the platform who didn't know that budget is projection is probably Kev, and maybe someone texted him that information, so he sought to give it out into the public. But Kev, newsflash, we all know budget is projection, but that projection is made based on what you believe your capacity to generate revenue is. And so when the government comes and tells you we're setting a budget at 500 million, it's because the government believes they have the capacity to generate $500 million. You cannot sit on the show and talk about budget not performing, because that is contrary to your government's information to the people who have budget surplus. So that means the budget has to be overperformed. So if they have budget surplus to the extent, I'm hearing myself, can someone mute themselves? If you have budget surplus to the extent that your government is increasing your budget from 600 million to 700 million, almost $1 billion, how can you sit on this show and talk about parts of the budget not performing? So are you saying that Samuel told a lie to the Liberian people when he said we had a budget surplus? Are you saying that your government has been lying to the Liberian people about budget surplus, that they've exceeded the revenue projection? You got to choose a struggle, Kev. You can't on one point come and say there's budget surplus and the government is performing so well that they're increasing the budget to 700 million, and then come in another tongue and say, oh, even though we budgeted 11 million, but we're not able, if but the parts of the budget ain't performed. Choose your struggle. Which is which? Government not performing, or you got budget surplus? Tell Liberian people so we know. But this is completely disservice to the Liberian people to continuously lie to them. We all know the government struggling. They're not getting money. They're not getting capacity to generate the revenue. But here come all these big projections. Your budget is 700 million, almost 1 billion, because Cummings said he would grow the budget to 1 billion. You say you're growing it to 700 million. Before 2023, we will reach 900 million, 1 billion. Then Cummings will not get campaign message. They tell you coming campaign message at 1 billion, or that the only campaign message you get. You're to the 700 million now. Bring the money for the things that you've budgeted for. Then you say, pass the budget, not performing. You must know that projection. Now today you know budget that projection. But let's get to the actual issues. Even though 11 million was projected, the Ministry of Finance have confirmed that 5 million was disbursed. Yet the Ministry of Commerce is saying they only received 3.5 million. What happened to the other 1.5? That one, another projection again, that disbursement. So if 5 million was disbursed by the Ministry of Finance, and Ministry of Commerce claims they've received only 3.5. Simple math. 1.5 missing. 1.5 unaccounted for. Where is that 1.5? Where is it, Kev? Nobody saying text message to explain that 1.5 yet? Because clearly you're the spokesperson of the government now. Where is the $1.5 million? That's what you should be explaining, not talking to us about projection that we all know. In spite of the projection, you are able to raise $5 million and disburse it to according to the Deputy Minister of Finance. So where is the remaining 1.5? Why is there a variance between what the Ministry of Finance said they disbursed and what the Ministry of Commerce said they received? Who in the middle can explain what where the balance 1.5 is? So let's keep it basic. Forget the projection. We own expenditure now. Where is the remaining 1.5? You can say it. You can speak to it. Because there is clearly an issue there, an issue of lack of accountability. And this is part of the problem with this government. You lie so much. You know, Mama always used to say, when you can lie, you can steal. When you can steal, you can kill. You can lie so much that you don't even keep up with your lies. And this is part of the problem. You cannot continue to subject the Liberian people to lies over and over. You lie about your performance. You lie about the things that you're doing. You'll be 20 horses in Quenchida and say you'll be 175 or 250. You lie about everything. You lie that Cummings is responsible for sanction. You lie that Cummings finger document. You lie that Cummings that gave. You lie that Cummings buy all the rights from the market. You lie about everything. When would the Liberian people trust you to say the truth? That's the basic respect you can give your citizens. Truth, accountability, and transparency. And it is lacking in this government. To the point that you can't even collect simple data. You got no respect for data because you know why? The data is the paper trail. That the data came in and cash you. So once there's no data, then you think nobody able to cash you. Where is the data on the Ministry of Commerce? On the key commodities, why you're not releasing the key commodities bulletin anymore? Why you stop? Because it will tell us what's happening within our commerce sector. And so nobody should hold you accountable for it. Look at where it's gotten us today. Who was tracking how much rice we have in the government in the country? Who was tracking what's the stock of rice left? Who was tracking these things? Where is the data? Why you stopped having the meetings? Why you stopped releasing the bulletin? How can you run a government without data? Today, you even know the number of persons in the country. How many Liberians reside in Liberia? You're still about to do census. Since 2018, you should have done the census. According to the Constitution, the last census of 2008. 10 years later, we should have had a census. You didn't conduct the census since 2018. Mr. Cummings had to make noise about this census before the elections, before you started to censor. How do you run a government without data? Data is the new oil. It tells you how many persons you have to provide services to, how many persons in the country, how you provide security, food security. All of these things comes down to data. You're not even getting. But let's come to the issue of the president. It is clear that Joe and Natalie Labron people, oh, I want a job. I want a job. I want a job. I want a job. What else he needs to say? By his actions, he's shown that he is unable and incapable of carrying out the duties of the presidency. How can you have a government where officials are not performing? You're constantly in crisis and you continue to keep them. That come from heaven to talk to you? Mr. President, when do you actually carry out the duties and functions of the presidency? You've played enough football. You've played enough basketball during working hours. You've played enough sports during working hours. It is time to play president. When are you going to play president? When you voted out next year? As far as I'm concerned, at this point, we don't even have a president running the country. We have officials just doing their own thing. And that is sad because the country suffers, the people suffer. You got people sleeping in the streets in front of these retailers to be able to buy bags of rice to take it to the counters to sell. How is this normal? How is this okay? And you want to talk about politicizing it? Rice is a political commodity. And for too long, we sat on this issue and tried not to say these things that needs to be said so that we don't incite the people. But this is enough. Enough is enough. Do something. Leave Jamaica Resort and get to work. You cannot say you have the people at heart and continue to trample your feet on them. Basically, they're currently under your feet. They're struggling, they're suffering, they're dying. And you say you have the country at heart? At what point do you say enough is enough to these officials? Whether they're your friends, whether they voted for you, whether they supported you since 2003, at what point do you put Liberia first? We're not going to sugarcoat this issue anymore. We're not. At this point, you either become president, you either act president, you either play president, or you resign, Mr. President. You leave and save the Liberian people the headache. And to the representative who was on tonight, Representative Koga, I followed your work. You've done some good work, but I think you have dropped the ball on this issue with the Commerce Ministry. As the head, the chair of the House Committee on Commerce, when you noticed that the Commerce Ministry was no longer releasing a bulletin on key commodities in the country, you should have put your feet down. And this applies to the House and the Senate. The legislature, as the branch of government that provides oversight on these executive agencies, should have ensured that we started to redo these bulletins to keep us abreast of what is happening with these key commodities. And because they didn't do that, that's why we are where we are. That's part of why we are where we are today. And I hope that you guys can reconvene when you come back from on your break. You can ensure that the Ministry of Commerce is held accountable. As Ben said, definitely do the investigation into the funding that was released and why we are where we are, and let heads roll. The president may have the constitutional authority to dismiss, but you also have the authority to have a vote of no confidence in these officials who are not performing to the benefit of the Liberian people. Enough is enough. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Guys, we want to say thanks. We want to say thanks for everything. That's enough. Kev, I'm ready. Tired. I'm sick, you know that. Let's just move on. Let's send a shout out. Yeah, I'm coming. Let's send a shout out to our Umpa Ben. Can you do this? Your papi?
Yeah.
What's the question?
Because he not cost me, not send me all kind of text messages.
He dropped on his right knee. I know it was so hard for him to get up, but he popped the question, man.
That was so awesome. I spoke with him today. That was awesome.
Yeah.
We congratulate my Uncle Sam Jackson.
This is beautiful.
On his engagement, and I like her outfit.
Yeah, he put a tradition on her.
Uncle Sam has, one of the things that I love about him is, I say to him all the time when people get upset with Sam Jackson and they're fighting him, I say,
when someone get to the point where they literally saw death's door, and God gave them another chance
Oh
to
yeah.
live. Like
Yes.
I don't know if Sam Jackson really he's at a stage in his life where he's like, I'm going to enjoy and ride this car until the wheels fall off, right?
Yes.
So that's where he's at right now. And I'm happy for him because everybody deserves happiness. And you can see that the two of them are genuinely happy together. You can see that. I mean, you look at his face, you can see that. So Uncle Sam, I just want to say congratulations. The promise that I made to you, I will fulfill it tomorrow because he threatened me he would come under the show to cost me.
Man, the man finished sending me all kind of message with ZELLE on it. Yeah, the man said the Zulu Queen gets her engagement ring in her Liberia attire. I proposed to Zulu Queen at 6 p.m. yesterday. I asked her to wear an African attire to represent that she will be more than a bride. She replaces my late mom in her love and constant quarrel to set this bad boy on the right path. She has succeeded. I am totally different man, committed, serious. I must treat the people's daughter with great love and respect. She gave up her crochet, left in Santon, I think he talking about South Africa, and her penthouse to be with a poor, struggling old man like me. I will not disappoint her. I dedicate my life, my last days on this earth, to you, to Bikayasi. Amen. Amen. The message given the lies.
Papa no love. The Papa no love.
The Papa, listen. The message he giving her that last portion. Check right in there. The last day when God take his breath away, he had given her. Listen, man, Mr. Jackson, like Ben said, we're happy for you. May God bless you. May God keep you. And please don't forget, wherever on earth you're going to have that wedding, the Spoon family will be there.
Oh, yes.
Trust
definitely.
us. We will go in South Africa. We will be there. Europe, just anywhere. We will be fully represented because you're our own Opa. And to the beautiful lady, he said, my doll baby, I want to say to you, God have you as well. Thank you. Thank you for taking all his wahala. Because of you, he's stronger today. We love you both, and we wish you Godspeed. That was a good one. Yeah.
And say what you want. He does look happier.
Yeah,
he's happy. You know, I spoke with him today, and he was like so happy.
Yeah, and I actually saw him yesterday, by the way. And
Papa almost lost his life. So God, he have a reason to be grateful to God, and he said he live every day as if his last day.
Yeah, you know, me and my Sam Jackson can fight it, but they want. I want to say congratulations.
No, we applaud him for that, and we applaud the young lady for being.
And the one thing though that it says, you know, especially with us living in a small, tight knit society like Liberia, is to live your life not caring what people will say.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, he doesn't care. You have to live your life, be happy, make choices and decisions that makes you happy. My mom always used to say, your happiness, you know, it's your own responsibility. Make decisions that make you happy, and don't care what people will say. Like when people can adjust, I mean that you will thought they will adjust anything you want to do.
And one thing he said, okay, so he posted that, right? Then a few hours later, he said, don't be jealous and envious. You can never be me. You can be better. Make the efforts. And that's Sam Jackson.
2 snaps to
that. Sam Jackson. We want to say thank you, folks, for joining us.
And a happy anniversary to Dr. Peabody.
Yeah, I mean,
yes, happy
anniversary. Did that, you know.
Thank you. I got to highlight you.
Dr. Peabody.
Thank you.
I'm never going to make you look good, Doc.
I feel Louis appreciate it.
Exactly.
They better guy. They better guy. It has been. You know what? Let me tell you something. You know, Dr. Peabody went to Ghana a few days, right? So when Dr. Peabody called me and said you're going to Ghana, then I look at my wife. I say, "But Lau, Dr. Peabody can go anywhere you want to go anytime." Noel, look at me and say you're not Dr. Peabody. Dr. Peabody, listen, this woman allowed Dr. Peabody to make all the missionary trip.
She is part of the work.
You will preach everywhere. But then I would say to myself and say, hey man, I wish I had that privilege. But I would say to you,
just be a good boy. That's all.
I'm a good guy.
Just be a good boy. That's all.
But I think I got a high honor the pastoral title.
Yeah, just become a reverend. Just become a reverend doctor. Just become a reverend doctor.
Don't do it. Don't catch you.
But no, Dr. Peabody will congratulate you.
Enjoy, man. Enjoy,
thank you, guys.
Brother.
Thank you,
20
guys.
years, that's smart too. 19 years. 19 years.
That's not for children. That's what children do.
No, it's not. I gave up. You know, I gave up. I mean, listen, Chairman, let me say this while we go home. And I older than you, Ben. I believe. And I think I am. Something strange happening to me. Chairman, because I messed up, I get up and I look around. Whenever my wife and myself home.
Of course. It's
I'm getting scared because the children, I'm getting scared. Like I'm on an early retirement.
You empty nesting now?
No, I got Stanton, yeah, but he go to school at 7. So the whole house just go like, and I like, are you kidding me? You know, but thank God I get Kev Hassan to call in the morning, so that's a good one, guys.
The last 2 days, I haven't been fun for Kev, man. Kev has been quiet.
Kev, why you put your head down? Kev, go.
In his defense, the last 2 days hasn't been fun for the country, for the Liberian people. This has been difficult, but I think we all want to see good for our country. We want let's solve this issue. And but yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But Doc, enjoy your anniversary.
Enjoy your anniversary, people.
Enjoy your anniversary, Doc.
You guys got
wine tonight. On the red wine.
You're doing a big
red. So no Modelo.
On the red wine. No Modelo.
No Modelo. No Modelo.
And tomorrow too will be white wine.
What wine?
See you later, guy.
Next year,
wait. That brings me to my question.
Wedding.
Why are you going?
Oh, you're renewing your vows.
Renewing the vow next year. That'll be a big party. Yes.
So that brings me to my question. Why are you going to your spot to celebrate people's birthday when you say the president can celebrate his birthday?
But people are running the country.
No. People, no.
You bring up politics.
The Memphis arrest process.
It's a crisis in the country that the people that runs a missionary movement.
I just came back from a mission trip.
There should be no party. There should be nothing of that sort.
I just came back from a mission trip in Ghana. I give thousands of dollars out in the poor.
Chairman, let me say this to a couple of our folks that are listening to us, Chairman. Why are you guys waiting for October 10th to remove Yombly Kanga Lawrence as political leader? Why?
Oh, Lord.
Who removing Yombly as political leader?
Why are you guys waiting for October 10th to remove Jonathan Capel and the rest of them? Why are you guys waiting that only Musa Bility will be able to sign and send people to represent Liberty Party in this upcoming election? And if Musa Bility doesn't sign, it means that General Capel will not be on the Liberty Party ticket. It means that folks that are running, that in government right now, Steve Zygo,
and that's your discussion,
on
right?
the Liberty Party ticket. That's tomorrow. But I received the information today that October 10 is the deadline that there will be no political leader for Liberty Party. Hey, Ben.
So wait. Let me ask you.
No, that's tomorrow. Now tomorrow.
Are you making a statement or what you say here?
No, but I'm shy because there will be no political leader. Yombly will be done, and also I received information that Unity Party stand-up bearer, my own pap, Jose Yima Barker, is not thinking about Yombly no more. He's going for Prince Moyi. He's going for Prince Moyi. No, Mariah. He's thinking about Prince Moyi.
What information you get on Cummings?
I received information that Cummings will be in the United States between the 10th and the 20th to attend a convention. And also after that, Cummings in Maryland. And also that we're not buying tickets. If you're invited, we'll go there. We're not buying tickets.
You got a response for the campaign.
I am not going to give Cummings money. Cummings get a lot of money. And also, let me give you other information that is so important. Cummings have put together a campaign team. We'll be giving the names tomorrow. To your surprise, Cummings have put together a campaign team. To your surprise, I was thinking, folks I spoke to today, I thought within myself that Louis Brown was going to be the campaign manager. They said no. I thought it was going to be Toga McIntosh. They said no. Names that were coming up. No, I'm not going to say this. I want you guys to wait till tomorrow. It's very important for you to hear this one. But Cummings got a surprise campaign team that will hit the ground running. Some of them were to travel to this convention. They are not traveling. They got to remain in the country when Cummings is out. Cummings will be able to touch every 73 electoral district. Not only touching the district, but leaving a mark. Now, here's the interesting thing. When I asked about other folks, Ben, it may surprise you. They say Cummings ready to hit the ground running with $23 million on his bet.
Jesus Lord,
$23 million on his bet. Everywhere Cummings. I was saying, if you're giving me a chance tomorrow, we'll give you everything. I know. But I want to say,
if I would make you the guest tomorrow.
All the information.
Y'all have a wonderful night, guys. Good night.
Good night, guys. Bye.
Yes, sir. A special one from the CEO, Stan coming with the spoon.
Jay, why you sleeping on us? You are sleeping on us, James. Move from that, man. Yekezi Zogbe. Yekezi, have a good night. Thank you very much for producing tonight. Look around. Make sure you are safe going home. And till we meet again, let God bless you, yeah?
Okay,
you have a good night. Thank you, James. I'll talk to you. Bye-bye.
All right.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia.
Okay, so folks, that's it. You just listened to Spoon Talk. Join us tomorrow when the CEO and his team of panelists will be back here with another breathtaking discussion right here on your biggest talk show.
You want to know what
So thanks for being there. My name is Yekezi Zube. Goodbye from my James. Goodbye, my man.